All right. Welcome back to the Green Logbook. Good to be here with everybody. Please, if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out. Shout out to the sponsors really quick. American Fidelity, life insurance, all that good stuff. If you're looking for life insurance, they're the ones to go with. Awesome. Good to be here on a Friday morning, man. Good to have woken up and just enjoy another day of breath, right? Shout out to Backwoods Law. Good to have you, buddy. Good to see you on here. Looks like you finally made it. Do you usually miss the live streams, I wonder? It says Veterans of Coffee because it makes it safer for everyone involved. That's right. That's right. Just make sure the coffee's not too hot, right? Just finished brewing mine, and I do enjoy sitting down with fellow vets and enjoy some coffee and just hanging out, kicking back, and talking a little bit about what's going on in life, what's going on in current events with vet news, things like that. It's always fun for the masses. Last night, I stopped by a veteran event here in San Diego County, right outside of San Diego, and it was great. It was a ton of veterans there. Talked to another retired Marine who runs an organization. What's going on here? Let me see. I'm getting a call. Give me a second. Thought I turned this stuff off, but let's. The great thing about this iPhone stuff, this new stuff, is that you can screen all the calls, but it still comes through to the computer. So I've not done that yet. I haven't figured that part out, how to cut that off. But you can screen all the calls now. So all those crazy VA lenders and all that trash that they're calling all the time, hey, that trash goes straight to the screening. I don't even have to answer it. It goes to another inbox. So it's fairly good if you know how to work it and fairly, check the inbox every so often, but sometimes it's kind of a pain in the ass to clear all that stuff out. Let me close this before I burn my retinas here. There we go. Bam, sis. Backwoods Law. Sometimes just depends on what the boss has scheduled for me, and I have not been notified of. So, no, Backwoods Law. Are you currently working? Are you employed? Are you working like a 9 to 5? Are you working at home? What do you do? Curious about that. Yeah. So while you get that going, last night's event was pretty cool. I got to speak with some folks from the American Legion. The American Legion. This gentleman this lady who runs. Really, she's a spokesperson for all the American Legions across California. And as you all know, if you've seen my videos, I'm here located in Southern California. So that was pretty cool to talk to them. And another gentleman who is in charge of he's a county representative, several counties, for some kind of, I can't recall the name of his title, but he has to deal with veterans as well. So very cool to connect with these folks. He's like, hey, shoot me an email. We'll all sit down and have some coffee. I had some good ideas about potentially bringing things into the American Legion, bringing things into the VFW. For instance, how cool would it be to have a podcast studio or a YouTube studio in the back, just an office dedicated to podcasting, to YouTubing, having vets share their story, walking into a place where you feel welcome, right? Like the VFW or American Legion. Now there still needs to be some work. There's still some work to be done with all these places to make it feel very welcoming to all generations. But how cool would it be if you can walk in and in the back, you can share your story. You can register, or you can reserve a podcast studio or a YouTube studio, reserve an hour, 2 hours, and share your story there with fellow vets. Just have a good time. Just have something set up. Maybe have a sound engineer or a video engineer or somebody who knows how to work this stuff in the back. And maybe you pay $10 an hour or something like that. Maybe it's covered by some nonprofit. That would be awesome. Awesome. So that was an idea I proposed to them, and they were like, wow, that's an amazing idea. I'm like, why has nobody ever thought of this before? This generation right now, everything we're seeing, everything's on YouTube. Everything's podcast, right? I can't remember the last time I watched a TV show like actual like on the air. Everything is all the TV shows are on YouTube or on Hulu or whatever you watch, right? Everything's on there on these streaming apps. So I don't remember the last time I did that, but I'm like, hey, how cool would it be to have Vets Connect in the back there? Let's see here. Going to the comments real quick. Big Red, what's up, brother? Hey, what's going on, buddy? So, so the boss is the wife, as it is in most families. Yeah, yeah. Damn, this light it's really shining out here. Just when I thought I had everything covered. Let's do this. All right. Um, this is Derek Mill, retired creator. Hope things are going good. Awesome, man. Do you have Big Red? Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you got I can't recall if we connected before. Maybe I have. I've got that kind of that brain, right? I can't remember everything, but if you did, please share your YouTube channel name. Is it Mill Retired Creator? Share that on here, and we'll give you a shout out, man. Tony Slaughter, good to have you, buddy. Good to have you. Yeah. So today's topic is kind of open discussion. All right. There's been a lot of stuff that's been running through my mind, and I've been doing like the one a day type of shorts, just asking questions, and I just have a ton of questions. As you all know, I write in my logbooks just about every night, and I have a ton of questions. So I figured, why not just create like this really short, these shorts, YouTube shorts, and just ask the masses, ask the vets out there. Because I do write about like fatherhood, about leadership, about mentorship, about old stuff like stoicism and Greek philosophy and all that stuff. I read about all this trash. So it's not trash, but all this good stuff. So, but today I wanted to make an open discussion amongst vets who want to join in on the chat. What kind of questions do you have? What is on your mind? For instance, on my mind is I'm looking to take a family trip. We usually take a family trip somewhere every year. And this year, on top of the family trip, because I like to have everything kind of in place, scheduled and all that, but it's been several years since I have used Space A Travel. So this year, since I can now work from home or really wherever I want from, and my kids will be on summer vacation, why not take advantage of Space A Travel? I'm a retiree. I can get Space A Travel. The only thing that I'm afraid of with Space A Travel is when you land somewhere, you got to have somewhere to stay. Like I can't just rent a car, and I suppose I could and sleep in the car with my kids, but that's not the ideal situation. So as soon as I get on the manifest, I got to start calling like hotels or figure out some Airbnb situation. And hopefully they're not like priced through the roof. So we'll see. Mm, Oliver Rust, welcome, man. Welcome. Good to see you again, buddy. Yeah. So today's just a Friday live stream, open discussion, man. Whatever you all want to discuss, whether it be education benefits or VA or what have you, Space A Travel. A ton of stuff on my mind, and I'm willing to go in whatever direction you all want to go in. Excuse me. Does anyone know where I can get health insurance? Depends. A lot of my health insurance is through the VA, and if the VA does not cover stuff like maybe dental or anything like that, we are covered under another insurance, being that my wife is a federal employee. So we're kind of covered on all bases like that. I'm wondering, yeah, same question as Backwoods Law. You are signed up with the VA, right? Oliver Ross, fixing to do Space A soon. Right on, man. Where are you going? Where are you going? Are you going to the Philippines? Let me know. Yes, I do. I do recall your name. I do recall the episode we did about a month ago. Yes, yeah. I've got, of course, I'm always like something's always on the mind, so I can't remember everything. And if I don't write it down, things just fall by the wayside for me. So I have to write everything down. I can barely remember what I had for dinner yesterday. So that's what it is. But yeah, good to have you, buddy. Good to have you here. Let me see. I have dental and vision. Well, good, good. Dental and vision and health insurance. Okay, so uh you need 24 months to qualify, but I got out before. Oh, okay. 24 months to qualify. Man, I'd have to do some research. I don't know where I would point you, Tony Slaughter, as far as health insurance. Within 24 months. You mean like 24 months, you spent 24 months in the service and then um, left the service, so you need more than 24 months to qualify for some kind of health insurance, like I don't know, Champ VA or even TRICARE, right? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Just be careful with the nicknames. If your old lady goes through your through your phone and wondering what are all these nicknames you got here, just careful with that. Um, but yeah, I totally get it, man. I've spoken to so many people. I have I don't even know where I kept my little green logbook. So yesterday I went to that event, that veteran event, and a lot of folks there. I mean, more people than I thought there would be. And I mean, there's people dressed up like Superman and stormtroopers, and I don't know what else, and bunch of vets, man. Some folks that I come across every so often when I hit up these veteran events. Um, and I brought my little green logbook with me, and so I don't like using my phone when I take notes and stuff like that. When I'm on the go, I'd rather put pen on paper. And I was taking the information of some folks that were from the American Legion and from the county, and I busted out the green logbook, and they're like, "I have not seen that in years." I'm like, "Well, welcome to today, welcome to Vic's world, because I carry this trash everywhere I go." So it is with me at my side. I love my little green logbooks. That's right. I recall you talking about that, Tony Slaughter, about all the medical issues you came across when you were on. I think it was Paris Island. You mentioned. Um, yeah, that's that's where you want to be, Big Red. I love that. That's good. And I mean, I'd love to make though it's outside of the realm of the channel and the veteran focus channel that I run here. I do love talking about like the marriage aspect and being a good husband, a good father, that type of thing. I've done it before, like at church and things like that, and it's great. It's a great topic to have, especially with folks who may be going through some issues. That's perfect. I mean, if you have no issues leaving your phone out uh, with your wife in the room or whatever, or walking out, leaving your phone there, you've got a good trusting relationship, especially if they know your whatever password or whatever it is. I can do that. I left my phone in my wife's car the other day, and she's like, "Hey, you." I was looking for it. I was like, "Hey, where the hell's my phone?" I used my son's phone to call her, and she's like, "Oh, you left it in the car." I was like, just leave it there. I'll get it whenever you come back." There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide, right? So, excellent that you have a good, trusting relationship with your wife, man. Curious, man. How long have you all been married? Tony Slaughter, do sleep paralysis sucks, man. I've had the same thing on several occasions. It's crazy. It's crazy. And when you wake up, you see floating black figures around your room. Um, I've had that where I've woken up. I can't move my body. I can only move my eyes. I can't even speak. And at times I can't breathe. It's hard to breathe. So it's crazy that I mention that to some folks sometimes, and they're like, what are you even talking about?" I'm like, "I don't know what it is, man. I've opened my eyes and I see like these crazy black figures floating around." And there's this. I did some research on it a while back. It's kind of wacky. It's like an out of body type experience. What's it called? Astral projection. Astral projection. Look that up. It's kind of crazy. You get sleep paralysis and you start seeing these things around, and you can actually go to different places and explore different places, like parts of the world or something. Kind of weird. I know it sounds crazy. I'm going through a whole nother area of topics that is not veteran related. But I did mention to a friend of mine, and he's like, "Dude, I've had that before." I was like, "No, shut the hell up!" And so we got to talking about it, and I've only read about it. I've never actually had that part of it, but it's crazy how. Just look it up. Astral projection. ASTRAL projection. Um, Big Red, man. Also, 100% trust and control issues with your spouse is huge red flag. Absolutely. We've been married for almost 8 years. Excellent, dude. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Trust is huge. You know, if you cannot trust the one you're with, then what do you really have? What kind of relationship is that really? Yeah, I love that. This November, I'll be going on 20 years married. And it makes me feel old saying that, but it's been some of the best 20 years of my life, man. If I didn't have this lady in my life, I don't know. I don't know where I'd be. I don't know where I'd be. It's crazy. I probably would not have been retired from the Marine Corps because she's the one that kind of pushed me towards it. Like, hey, just continue doing what you love. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. You know, I was trying to get out and start a different thing, like go to college and all that. And she's the one that led me to here. So totally grateful for that. Oliver Rust. Yeah, sounds like a haunt, dude. Yeah, it does, man. It's kind of scary, dude. I will tell you one thing, and this is some crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So I've got a lot of family over in Hawaii, right? And we went over there to visit them. They live in this nice little place in Hawaii, and we were there for my wife's grandfather's funeral. Yeah, passed away. He was an army veteran, passed away, and he got all the military honors and all that good stuff. Anyhow, we were there in one room, and I was across from the bathroom, and I kind of looked over because somebody was in the bathroom. I saw the light on, and I saw like a somebody walk out, and so I go to the bathroom, and sure enough, I'm like, oh, there's still somebody in here. Then I turn to the right. There's an open room there, kind of dark, like a storage room, an extra bedroom that they use as storage. Then I looked to the right and I saw somebody kind of sitting in a chair, like a swivel chair, like an office chair. And I thought it was my wife's sister. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. And I mentioned something. There was no answer, so I walked away. And then I happened to to walk down the hallway, turn around. There's nobody in. Like the chair was completely like turned towards me, nobody in there. Kind of strange because there was somebody sitting in there. So I don't know. I don't know if it was like the meds that they had me on while I was in the Marine Corps or what, but I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. I'm not going to go into that room. Um, and there's a lot of like superstition and stuff like that that goes on in like Hawaii. So maybe that's what that is. Kind of strange. Um, Tony Slaughter says there was a dream I had where I was at the MEPS place and I was getting ready to escape. Then I had to use the head. See, that's a crazy dream. Okay. You were at the MEPS place, you had to escape somehow. But you had to use the head, right? The bathroom for those who are not Navy or Marine Corps. You had to use the head. But what it would make it crazier is if you had to duck walk everywhere you went if you were trying to do that escape. And on top of that, had to duck walk, aka like gargoyle squat on top of the toilet while you were using the head. So that would make it even crazier. He said Vic got some good meds. Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. I don't like taking the meds, dude. I don't like them. There was a one time that I went to the pharmacy and it was one of those on base pharmacies, and I saw this old couple, like older, right? Like older than me at least. You know, they were like in their 70s maybe, and they had like it looked like a shopping bag full of medications. And I'm like, holy crap! Like, who are they getting medications for? Like, that's a ton of meds. And automatically, I'm like, man, I hope to God that I don't ever have to be on that many medications just to live another day, right? Just to put a band-aid on things and just to continue living, man. That's I don't ever want to be in that situation. Big Red says also called remote viewing. What is remote viewing? Is that the astral projection that I mentioned? It's weird stuff, man. It is. I've read about it. There was a time where I was like just enthralled by all this and just read nonstop about it. And I attempted to get sleep paralysis again on purpose, and I can never do it again. Right? I guess you have to be in the right mindset or something just to see what I could do. But honestly, it scares the hell out of me. Just not being able to get back in my body, if that's even a real thing. I don't know. You said, youngster, we just marked 29 years married this past February. Yeah. Awesome, man. Congratulations, dude. That's great. That's great, man. You know, I watch a lot of these videos, and I don't know if anybody else does on YouTube about these older folks, you know, and again, when I say older, I mean older than me. Like maybe they're in their 70s, 80s, and they talk about um, the things that they regret, the things that they wish that they would have done, and not one of them says, "I wish I would have worked harder." I've never heard anybody say that. It's always about the family. It's always about, "I wish I would have spent more time with family. I wish I would have uh, done this a little bit more with family, etc." So uh, that's something that I'm after retiring from the Marine Corps. I told myself, you know what, take a break. Try not to work as hard. You could still make a life. Try not to work as hard, but focus on family. Focus on creating that family element, so that way, you know, you all can uh, continue that togetherness as you get older. That's what it's all about, man. It's having somebody there at your side. Um, I've seen people use names like Pizza Hut for their sneaky link. What sneaky link? What are we talking about here? What is the sneaky link? Big Red, you're a rock star for getting with the right woman. I also retired just over 2 years, thanks to her enabling me to have a good Marine Corps career. Dude, that's what it's all about, man. Excuse me. Um, there's, you know, in the Marine Corps, I'm sure every other service has that. There's a joke, right? Like, you're not a true whatever it is Marine if you're not at least divorced once, and you know whatever, paying child support or something like that. I mean, it's a joke, right? It really is. Um, but man, the amount of folks that I've known, that I've seen, that have had just like that have chosen the bad relationships is incredible, especially in the military. Especially in the military. There was at one point some guy. He wasn't in my unit or anything like that. He was just living in the barracks with us, and he was moving out of the barracks. I mean, the dude was what, like 21. He was a E4 at the time, and moving out of the barracks, and he was like talking about he was getting married and all that, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome, man. You know, it just I overheard it. I wasn't part of the conversation, but you know, everybody hangs out on the catwalk on Fridays or whatever. He's like, yeah. He's like, later, biatches, you know, all that. I'm moving out. And I overheard like, oh yeah, I'm getting married. And then somebody starts laughing. They're poking fun at him, right? Because he's marrying this older lady, older than him, who was probably in her 40s. And somebody had mentioned like, oh yeah, I know who that lady is. She was like with this other dude. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, like maybe this dude's picking the wrong person, I'm thinking. So you got to pick the right person. I mean, there's some folks like that, some people like that who continue to get married for the benefits, jumping around, jumping around. So, and they prey on these young cats. Let's see. Tony Slaughter says, I only duct walk while scuzzing the deck. Dude, when you say scuzzing the deck, dude, my knees start to shiver, start to quiver with terror. Do you remember that? They used to do back in boot camp, they used to make you grab the towels, like kind of like scuzzing the deck, right? They used to make you grab the towels and race down the senior drill instructor's highway, like as if almost replacing a mop. You're just running down the highway, kind of like doing a bear crawl, but pushing a wet towel, all while at the end sprinkling aqua velva around the deck to make it smell good. So yeah, that's not fun. It was fun to think about it now, but not fun during that. Oh, okay. Sneaky Link is the cheater. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Um, Big Red says I am divorced from my first wife and pay child support, but that was a huge learning process and is what taught me what to look for in a great spouse. And I've also been able to give guidance on it. Yeah. So you have lived experience. You have like lived experience is what it is. That's great. That's great. I mean, especially when if you were, if this happened to you while you were in the Marine Corps and you had to pay the child support and all that stuff, you can give guidance to folks. Now, folks are going to do whatever they want to do, right? They're going to get married if they want to get married, and you can't really stop them. But um, you can give them guidance. Like, i.e., I had a Marine at one point who, um, oh, I'm getting a text here. Yeah, I had a Marine at one point who it was adamant about getting married, and I wasn't trying to sway him away from that. But then I'm like, okay, so you live into the barracks. We did a financial worksheet on this knucklehead, and he was like $90,000 in debt because he just was buying cars, and eh, the uh, the amount of interest that he was paying on these cars was insane, insane, and he just making bad financial decisions all around, and he he approached my staff sergeant with, "Hey, look, staff sergeant, my wife is, about we just find out we're gonna have a baby," and they brought it up to me. I'm like, "Oh, well, that's great." And the staff sergeant's like, "Well, hold on a second, sir. So this dude, that's not the end of the story. Not only is this guy, and I already knew about the $90,000 in debt. Not only is this guy $90,000 in debt, however, the lady he's going to have a child with already has 2 kids, you know?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So he's going from the barracks, single guy, to inheriting a family of 5 now. So that's crazy stuff to me. Crazy stuff to me. So it's these, and, we talked to him about, doing the right thing, like, "Hey, just because you're having a kid doesn't mean that you have to get married, dog," because then you're responsible for all these other people, you know? But, he does what he does, and he he got married. So it is what it is. He made that bed, and he's taking care of, I suppose he's taking care of that bed now. So um Tony Slaughter, mountain climbers. Oh God, don't get me started, dude. My lower back and my knees are killing me just thinking about mountain climbers. Yes. We use 55-gallon cans with Gain. Yes. It always smelled good afterwards. Right? Always did. Backwards Law. As a Green private MP, I was doing patrol at the dependent housing area. Had no clue when this lady asked me if I wanted some coffee. Found out later that was some approach they used to offer some. Don't fall for it back. I hope you didn't fall for it, Backwards Law. That's that's a no. That's a no go. No go. Yeah, there was some crazy stuff. When I was in Camp Lejeune as well. There was some crazy stuff going around about people putting brooms outside if they're available. I'm like, That's insane, man. That's insane. You don't do that. That's crazy stuff. Big Red, I just read your comment while I was drinking coffee, dude. I just saw this. Helped a Marine discover his own mom was suing his social security number or using. She was using his social security number to open multiple credit cards without him knowing. That's insane. So that's going to put this devil dog in a financial bind. That's crazy, man. And identity theft and all that good stuff. Yeah, that's did you help? I mean, did the guy get it all rectified and fixed? That's incredible. Dude, I'll tell you, man, when I did a lot of investigations. I was like the investigations OIC when I was in the Marine Corps, and the amount of things that I would see, man, and just witness testimony and or witness interview questions. The amount of things that I saw and heard. I'm sitting there, I'm thinking like what was and this is not one of the questions I would ask them, but I'm like, what was going through your mind when you were doing this thing? Because it doesn't freaking make sense. I can see the outcome of that not being career promoting. Yeah, yeah, I get it, man. When you were oh my gosh, man, when you are a leader of people who are young, right? First time out of the house, first time out of, I had Marines that this was over in, when I was at Camp Pendleton or even Miramar, their first time ever seeing the ocean, right? Like they had never traveled anywhere. But you have folks who had first time ever leaving home. It's like I compare it to like we watched Jurassic Park, right? Remember that big Indominus Rex, the one where like Chris Pratt is like, "Oh man, you've got him caged up in here," and and what happens when he gets loose? He's seeing all this for the first time. He's going to go insane. He's going to go crazy. Uh, just like these young knuckleheads who are seeing all this for the first time. For the first time, they're going to go crazy. They're going to do dumb crap. And you, as a leader, got to be ready to handle all that stuff because you're going to get met with some insane situations. Insane situations. Big Red, man, I would like to hear it if you would be willing to share this because I'm a big fan of of knucklehead stories. We should write a book about this. We should put like, hey, give me your biggest knucklehead story and let's put this in a book. Tony Slaughter can't do all that. Can't do all of that identity theft with all these cameras giving us a colonoscopy. Yeah. That was something that surprised me when I got over to Germany. Everyone lost their minds. I find that when you go to a duty station that is away from the United States, overseas, right? OCONUS, that people tend to feel more free to do silly things because it almost feels like you're away from the flagpole per se. You're away from the U.S. You have a little bit more freedom. Excuse me. Where in reality, you don't have a little bit more freedom. For instance, like when I was stationed over at MCIS Iwakuni, it was safety brief upon safety brief about uh, being a good steward, being an ambassador, a good ambassador of the U.S. or a good representation of the U.S. because we are in a foreign country. But yet, you still have knuckleheads that go out off base. I mean, once you're off base in Japan, you are in Japan, right? Like you are in a different country, culture. Um, even on base, you're in a different country, but once you leave the gates, you are in a different culture. And just the amount of, dumbassery, for lack of a better term, that happens outside of those gates is incredible. Yes. So I completely understand what you mean, Backwoods Law, that when somebody is outside and in an Oconus area, people tend to lose their minds. They don't act right. Yeah, Big Red. Give me a second here, man. Let me I'll give you the stream link here. All right, Big Red, there you go, buddy. That is the stream link. If you want to jump on, we'll talk for a few minutes, and then we'll keep the combo going. Third ID in Schweinfurt. I don't know where that. I've never been to Germany. I don't know how to even pronounce that. I'm still a believer in a book of short stories. Unfortunately, you would have to be the lead for that on that. Yeah, I'm all for it, man. I got so many projects in the works, man. It's kind of hard to start and end one right now. So, but it is. I have it written down on my whiteboard here. It is part of what I'd like to do. Schweinfurt. Okay, there you go. Oh, we got Derek, Big Red 1324. Hey, what's going on, Derek?
What's up, brother? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfect, man.
All right. I'd turn my camera on, but I'm laid out in convalescent leave at home right now. So I got I just had my shoulder surgery yesterday and I look stupid right now.
All good, man. All good. Get better.
Well, good to see you again, Vic.
You as well, man.
Well, I gotta tell you, I mean. I gotta tell you this story though, because it's really crazy.
Sure.
Okay, so I was over in Pendleton.
Mm-hmm.
I was at this unit for about 2.5 years, and then I went down the street down to 11th Marines with the artillery guys. And so I got a call. I would get calls from the prior unit like all the time, Marines asking for career advice because I'm a career planner, although I'm doing software design now. But anyways, so I had a gunny call me and was talking to me about some career stuff. End of the phone call, he said, "Hey, by the way, do you want to invest, $5,000 into some crazy business idea that he had?" And I said, "No, I'm not, I'm not interested, man. I'm good." He said, "Okay, cool." So about a month later, another friend of mine at the unit calls and she's talking to me. End of that phone call, she says, "Hey, by the way, did this guy ever ask you for money?" And I'm like, "How in the world do you know that? Like, did you bug my house?" Yeah. And she goes, "No, but he's been asking a lot of Marines for money, and a young corporal gave him some money." And I said, "How do you know that for sure?" She says, "Well, we made him log into his bank account and show us the transfer because we didn't believe him, nor obviously do we think that's right." And it was like $2,500. I was like, "This is nuts." And there's a couple of things, and I'm sure you can agree with me. There's some things you don't do, and one of them is taking money from freaking young Marines. Like, that's insane.
That is.
And it's like one thing if like you provide a service or like even if you lost like a gentleman's bet, like, okay, I could see that, but just straight up like taking money is criminal. So I told her, I kind of gave her an opportunity to, like be kind of like a leader. I was like, "What do you think you should do?" She goes, "Well, I think I should probably tell someone, but I'm scared because I see him every single day." I said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna call." At the time, our sergeant major had retired at that unit that everybody trusted and loved. And I said, "I'm gonna call sergeant major and have him talk to him and tell him to give this money back." She goes, "Okay." I said, "But if he doesn't answer, like, I can't hold on to this, like, not even for a night." She said, "All right."
Yeah.
So I tried to call our, retired sergeant major. He didn't answer. So I walk across the parade deck to the regimental sergeant major, who is a good friend of mine. He was actually my first sergeant I ever had. And I walk in, I said, "Hey, I gotta tell you about this." So I tell him the details, and he's like mouth, like falling to the floor. He immediately is like, "This guy's been doing this for a while. Like, there's no way this is the first time."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, I agree." So he's like, email me all the stuff, and then I'll patch it over to the unit. I said, all right, okay, cool. So I shoot him all this information that I'm aware of. And another reason why it was a big red flag is because this guy had orders to the East Coast around November of that year, and that Marine was getting out like around the same time. So I'm like, it's just you just had a feeling like this guy's never gonna get his money back.
Yeah.
So
He's going to be gone.
shoots over the information, and the next day, my friend calls me and she's like, I don't know what you did, but there's an investigation already started. And I'm like, yeah, well, there should be an investigation already
Yeah.
started. I mean, this is insane.
Absolutely.
And so I'll try to, I'm trying to make this story short because I know you got other things to do. But so I pop over about a few weeks later and go into the CO's office because I had worked for the CO. I was just like, catching up with him, and he says, really weird, but we got this phantom tip from 11th Marines. Wonder who
Mhm.
sent that. And I'm like, yeah, I wonder. And so, we knew. And
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
they took this Marine and they stuck him at a desk and said, hey, you can't talk to anyone, you can't do anything because you're under investigation. And they investigated him for almost a year, and they found out he had scammed over $100,000 from the Marines at the battalion, just that
No way.
battalion. I mean,
Wow.
enlisted officer. Every time he would ask for money, he would make up another reason, like, oh, I'm back on bills, or like my mom's sick, or it's a business
Yeah.
opportunity, or whatever the case. So he did all this stuff. Now here's where it gets really wild.
Okay. Now it gets more wild than this. Okay.
It,
I'm here. I'm here. Go
it
ahead.
gets really, really. This next part's crazy. So keep in mind, this guy had crossed sanctuary. He's beyond 18 years.
Mhm.
So he could technically retire, but he's like, it's like felony offense. It's like grand larceny or something like that he's looking
Yeah.
at. And so one day, he feels like sick on a Thursday, I think. He's like, hey, I don't feel so good. They're like, all right, go to medical. So he runs over to medical, and they hold him there overnight. And they're like, we don't really know what's going on. And on Saturday, he had a brain aneurysm and a stroke simultaneously. And then Tuesday, he's dead.
Wow.
And I
Was
find
it?
out, and I'm like
Go ahead.
wigging out,
Yeah.
And so the next day, Wednesday, because I found out Tuesday, someone called me and
Mhm.
told me this. Wednesday, I go to work and I go across the parade deck, Sergeant Major, and I'm like, hey, dude, remember that guy? He's like, yeah. He's like, I said, well, he's dead. He said, what do you mean? I'm like, this happened. And I'm like, did we kill a guy? He's like, no, absolutely not.
No.
That's called
Well,
stress and anxiety, and that caught up
yes.
to him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. When you are subject to when you are the subject of a command investigation, then things start to unravel. Absolutely. And things the folks who are part of that are start to sweat, not the witnesses.
Yeah.
But there's been many times where, like, I did a lot of investigations, and when you go and ask these people, they're sweating, man. They're like, oh, did I do something wrong? I was like, well, I'm not here to discuss that. That's for the CO or the CG to come to the conclusion with, depending on what my findings and recommendations are. I'm just
Yeah.
here to ask you some questions. But yeah, that dude, he couldn't even see the end of the command investigation.
Yeah.
I assume he was super stressed, and that caused all that to happen.
Right.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. So,
I've not had anybody die on me on a command investigation.
oh,
So
yeah, it's definitely the weirdest. It's like one of the strangest scenarios.
yeah,
And then
I'd say.
after all that, like I tried, like after I heard about the $100,000, I was like, I don't even want to know anymore because it made me feel really like bad
Mhm.
for all these guys. And so then when he died, um, I was like, oh my gosh. So once in a while, I'd pop over, see everybody, and then one day I was over there talking to them, and they said, yeah, there's a lot of these Marines are suing the family now because this Marine had, he passed away before the investigation, before they could charge him. So the family, collected
Mhm.
like life insurance policy, whatever the
Right.
case. But the Marines still were out lots of money. So they started suing the family. And that's when immediately I was like, I don't want to know anymore.
Yeah, that's where it gets messy, man. That's outside of the Marine Corps' hands, I think, once they start
Yeah.
doing. Yeah, that's some crazy stuff, man. And there are people like that, like higher ranking folks who ask
Mhm.
the lower ranking individuals, and
Yep.
similar to your story, man. I've got a scenario that it happened before I got to one of my duty stations,
Mhm.
and um, and I'm like, damn, I just missed this because I wish I was there to actually experience this. But what happened was a this master sergeant um, was he asked a corporal for a $2,000 loan.
Oh my
This
gosh.
master sergeant was he was big into alcohol and things like that. I'm sure he had issues with finances and all that.
Yeah.
And then come to find out um, that since that corporal could not get paid back,
Mhm.
he was like the way I understand it was he had to make payments of his own, to like other
Right.
things that he like credit card debt and stuff like that. The corporal did. So when he asked the master sergeant, "Hey, can I get the money back?" The master sergeant's like, "Oh, he just kept giving him excuses. Oh, I'll
Right.
get it to you next time, whatever." And then the corporal had made these copies, and it said, "So and so, Master Sergeant so and so has been um, asking me for money, and I have been giving him money
Yeah.
in the amount of this much." And he placed that copy on everybody's desk from the CO on down. And so he came
Genius.
in one morning at like 5 in the morning and did that, like, on everybody's desk. And, that's what caused this guy he was forced to retire at that point, right?
Yep.
Like, you can't do that, and that's crazy stuff. And I know this guy personally because he was one of my instructors at a course I went to,
Right.
and, I can kinda see it too, like, yeah, he'd seem like the type.
That sucks. Well,
Yeah.
Vic, let me tell you what's crazy too. Uh, Me and my friend, that the one friend that had actually initially tipped me off on this, her and I were chatting after all this went down,
Mhm.
and we had recalled collectively because we were both in there. We were having like we used to hang out with this gunny all the time. Like everybody
Yeah.
at the unit really liked this guy, and that's what made me really
Mhm.
sad because he was like a great people person. Everybody really got along with him. But I think at that time, it's like now afterwards, it's like, yeah, he was basically grooming everyone to willingly help him out in that way.
Yeah.
But one time we were in his room and he said, and you know Pendleton, so I'm sure you know about this place.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you know the casino right there, right off base in
Ocean's
Oceanside?
11?
Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, which is 11. And I'm like, yeah, I've seen it. He's like, you ever been there? I was like, no, man, I'm not into gambling. He's like, well, on Wednesday nights, it's like, triple hit blackjack, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
He said, you can win a lot of money. If you give me like $50, I'll give you back $200. And I'm like, nah,
Oh.
dude. Her and I remembered this, and it was a one-off
Yeah.
conversation. He never brought it up again. But
Right.
I think that was his way of like probing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I am 99% certain that he had initially borrowed money from Marines to try to like, go gamble with it, and he got caught in like a whirlwind or whatever you want to call it,
Mm,
where it was like a cycle of him getting more money to try to win money to pay people back, and he just got caught in this crazy thing.
yeah.
I am almost certain that he had a gambling addiction, and there
Huh.
are like lots of stuff. We talk about a lot of stuff in the Marine Corps. We have so many like annual trainings and whatever,
Mhm.
but I think we need to like I don't think we talk about like money enough and have real conversations about it. Like there's like that one financial person on a base who, you'll see once a decade,
Right.
but staying away from gambling is so important because it
It
could
is,
literally
man.
kill you.
It is, and it makes you do some stupid things, man. It really
Yeah.
does. Like, when I first checked into a unit, I had come off, deployment. I was meritoriously promoted over in when I was in Iraq, and then,
Mhm.
came back, got orders and all that good stuff, so went back to work in my old unit, then immediately, like, within a month, got orders.
Yeah.
Executed those orders, and my first interaction with the staff NCO that I checked in with was, I was all like squared away. I walked in, prayed rest, and all that stuff,
Yep.
and he's like, "Hey, just chill out, man, chill out." And knocked on his hatch and all that. And he's like, "Hey, just chill out, man. Have a seat." I'm like, "Hey, good to go, good to go." Um, tells him to sit down. We're just talking back and forth. So he's like, "How was the deployment, man?" I'm like, "Oh, it was good. It was all right, man. Got to hang out with good deployment team and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Great, excellent." And then he's like, "Hey, man. So I'll tell you, man. If you ever need to borrow money, I'm here for you. If you ever," I'm like, immediately, I was like, "I've never heard that before. I've always
Okay.
been
Yeah.
told not to."
Navy Marine Corps Relief Society. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Go ask them for money for a loan, temporary loan or something,
Yeah.
or a grant. But yeah, that led to a whole spiraling of this staff NCO who, he just things didn't work out well for this
Right.
gentleman. Yeah. So you got to stay. I guess you got to stay on your P's and Q's, essentially, for lack of a better term, if you're going to be a good leader, right? Because things will
Yeah.
definitely catch up to you. Because people talk. People talk. They're like, "Hey, man, don't
Right.
hang out with that guy." People talk, man.
Yeah. And it's what's sad is, and this is all branches and just Marine Corps, but all
Yeah.
branches,
Oh, absolutely.
as you get up there in the ranks, you and just inherently get influence added on, right? You can influence young Marines or sailors, Army, whatever. You can influence them to do anything, and people take that and they abuse it, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'll go ask this kid for." It's like taking people's lunch money, but they're like happy
It
to do
is.
it because they're like, "Oh, I'm pleasing this, this mass sergeant or this gunny or this
Right.
whoever."
Yeah.
And I feel like they should treat that a lot more harshly uh, than I've ever seen. I've never really even seen anyone get in actual trouble for it, except for this one
Mhm.
guy, obviously.
Yeah.
But I've heard of it so many times. I'm like, yeah, this is messed up. But it's not. I wouldn't say it's super common though either. I think most Marines are pretty good about this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And they are, for the most part. I mean, a lot of it is innocent. Um, Meaning, like, I had like an open door policy when I was like the OIC of my place. I had an open door
Yeah,
policy. But when you have an open door policy, I expect people to use the chain of command,
yeah,
right? Like, "Hey, talk to this person first, to this person first." Hold on a second here. Excuse me. But I would have, on a Monday, I go around, do my rounds, I grab my freaking coffee mug, and I'm like, "Hey, how's the
hmm
weekend? How's everybody doing?" As anybody would. Uh,
yeah,
but throughout the day, I'd get, these Marines who come in my office, like corporals, sometimes lance corporals, and they're like, "Hey, sir, uh, you hear what so and so did this weekend?" I'm like, no, like, what happened?
hmm
And they'd kind of spill everything, and I'm like,
great.
"Does Gunny know about this?" They're like,
Uh
"Oh
huh.
no, we haven't told him yet." I was like, "You should probably tell him first, and then have him come
Right.
see me, please." Yeah.
Yeah. Like, come on, man. Don't trauma dump me yet. Go do that other
Right,
guy
right.
first.
Maybe, and it caused me to kind of look myself in the mirror. I'm like, am I being too approachable here? Am I being like too open?
Right.
I like the idea of being open. However, I don't want to undermine the authority of the staff and COs and stuff like that. So it's kind of a pain, but work through all that, and I had to let it be known that one of our get-togethers and all that. I'm like, "Hey, make sure you utilize your chain of command.
Yeah.
If something happens, I don't want to be the first one to know about it unless it's like an emergency and you can't get a hold of anybody else. Let me know, but utilize
Yeah.
that chain of command."
Yeah.
So of
I've
course
lived.
they weren't happy about that.
Yeah, I've lived that experience like a million
Yeah,
times.
yeah,
Being
yeah,
that the career planner, they come in and they're like, you've heard this joke, I'm sure, in the past, like, "Oh, career planners know everything or they deal with everything." I'm like,
mm,
I mean, I'll help you, but have you talked to anyone else about this before you came in here and asked me?
right. Shoot.
Like, please. I had a girl one time came in and she was like super chatty with everyone, which is fine.
Mhm.
Female Marine. And she came in and we had just come off of 96 and she just starts talking like out of the blue, just walks in, starts telling me about a real bad SA scenario in the barracks. And I'm like, hold on a second. Like, have you talked to anyone about this? She's like, no, I haven't. Can you give me the UVA's phone number? I was like, yeah, of course I can give you the UVA's phone
Yeah.
number, but
Wow.
why? Like, You just told me every single detail of what went down. And
Unrestricted report now, huh?
exact. It's no
Yeah.
joke. I'm not even joking, Vic. She goes, yeah. And I said, hey, because you work nearby one of these people you just told me about, like, I want to go talk to the first sergeant. She goes, yeah, but tell him I want it to be restricted. I like literally was like, girl, are you on something?
Okay.
So I gave her my
Go
cell
back now.
phone. I let her have my office so she can call the UVA. I shut the door and I walked to the first sergeant. I said, hey, I tell him all about it. And he's like, what? I said, oh, and by the way, she wants it to be restricted. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, no. But
Yeah.
I,
Once you let that cat out of the bag, man, you can't really
right.
put it back in there.
And she's like, I told her, I said, hey, I let the first sergeant know, but it cannot be a restricted report anymore, right? She goes, what do you mean? I was like, you just told me all this crazy stuff. And
Mhm.
you can't have it can't be restricted anymore. Like you have to understand that.
Yeah.
And but that was, because I had all the Marines so comfortable telling me stuff that I would get pulled into these wacky scenarios, and sometimes I didn't want to be in them,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But
That's the issues with the I mean, it's good to have an open door policy, but
yeah,
sometimes or to be the go-to person, because
yeah,
then people rely on you and people open up to you and all that stuff. And if they really do need help, then you can assist them. But
right.
yeah, that's one thing. And they always kind of they spell it out for you at these briefs, right? Like, hey, here's
Hmm.
unrestricted, here's restricted, but folks they still don't understand.
Yeah,
Like, hey, you can't be telling people this if you
right.
want it to be restricted, you know? Yeah, that's the crazy stuff, man. Crazy.
But either way, Vic, I know you got other topics you want to talk about. I literally could talk to you for about 300 hours about a million things, but I'll let you go, man.
All good, man. Yeah, we'll definitely connect again, dude.
All right,
Good having
sounds
you on
good,
here.
Vic. Thanks
All
again,
right, take it
brother. I'll
easy.
talk to you soon.
All right, get better as well.
Thanks, dude. See ya.
All right. Yeah, that was Big Red, man, sharing some stories about time in the Corps. Of course, we all have knuckleheads and stuff. If you were ever in a leadership position, you're going to have knuckleheads that come to you or cause issues. And if you were not in a leadership position, I'm sure that they were amongst your group or your unit. So we all have seen them. Real quick, going to the chat here. Um, I saw who did I see in here? Semper Fi, Roy Estrada. Welcome, dude. Good to have you on here, man. So yeah, I just decided to do this Friday live stream. Got a lot on my mind. Always writing stuff down. Always thinking about new things. And I thought, let me make this an open discussion and talk about whatever you might have on your mind. Veteran benefits, life after the service, current news, updates. Space A is on my mind right now. I haven't used it in many years, and I thought, you know what? Summer is upon us. Kids are about to be out of school, and I rate Space A, retiree, right? So why not just take my kids over somewhere, wherever they're going, right? It would be great to go back to our old place in Hawaii and go check it out and only pay what's it, like $27 for fuel charge on a Space A. Better than paying the exorbitant prices on, flights these days. Everything is crazy, insane priced. Um, Tony Slaughter, yeah. Mhm. All right, so this is a good one. This is something like that I asked on one of my shorts and a video I put out there. And I'm glad you brought it up, Roy Estrada. If you have a family and you retire, you most definitely must continue working. I was a Chief Warrant Officer 4 when I retired and made sure I had another job lined up before I retired. Your family is used to the quality of life. They absolutely are. Give me a second. I got like birds right outside my window here. Yeah, that's great that you brought that up as far as going right into a job. And during my short, I asked, "Hey, look, how many folks have gone straight into another position, like straight from a one day you were in uniform, maybe a week goes by after TAPS, or maybe a month goes by, and then you, bam, start a new position. It could be maybe on terminal leave, maybe you're not on terminal leave anymore, but you start a new position." And I got kind of a 50-50 type of thing. Like, hey, I went straight into a job, or like Friday I retired or I left the service. Monday I started a new job. Then I got some folks that are talking about, hey, look, I took some time off to decompress, to chill out, hang out with family, etc. Now I will say a lot of it has to do with budgets, with the finances. You know, if you were able to swing the maybe a year off, hey, do that thing. You know, let me see here. Your family's used to quality of life. It won't be a shock if you lower the quality. Civil service is a good transition tied to military, but in civilian clothes. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. I did enjoy my time as a federal employee, though I wish it would have been longer. It was during the time where like the Doge drawdown was happening. And, you know, of course, I was a probationary supervisor, a GS-13, and they were like, hey, first or last in, first out. And actually, they let me go twice and then they brought me back twice, and I'm like, uh, I don't know what to expect next week, you know. So let me just take that buyout, that fork in the road thing that they offered, and it's been all right since then. It's been all right. Honestly, it's like if you know how to work it and know how to conduct some business here and there, life can be okay. Well, Tony Slaughter, what are you talking about, bro? I was on vacation. It was spooky, and right next to a hostel. If I was there and they were listening, I'd have a weird phone conversation for kicks. All right. Yeah, I think Tony Slaughter's mentioning Big Red's buddy there who was trying to scam folks out of their money. That one gunny should have opened a mega church. Yeah. Yeah, the stories that similar to backwards law, man, the stories that we hear while in uniform are insane. And I think Oliver Rust also mentioned, like, I would love to put this in a book somewhere. It's on my list of things to do, but there's a long list of things to do right now. Right now, I'm focused on the master's degree, and then from then on, I can kind of take whatever comes. I'm afraid to bring that comment up on here. Let me see. Just going through some of these comments. You guys got some interesting stuff on here. Sergeant Stacking, welcome, man. Hey, I like the stuff you're putting out there, dude. Good stuff. Like I said, man, whenever you do a pour of an EGA, let me know, man. I'd love to check that out and watch that. That's awesome. Let's see. Is Space A only for retirees? No, no, no. Space A is for active duty retirees. They are for I think if you have 100% P and T, you rate Space A. But there's different categories of priorities. So I can't recall what retirees is, what the category is for that one. I know we're one of the last ones, but if you go on a flight, usually I use ebbitravels.com. Ebby Travels is one of the sponsors of the show. So this, I think he's an Army captain. He built this entire like website uh, around Space A, and instead of going to every terminal to figure out, you know, who's going Space A and where are they going and what time are they going, this dude actually built this database online that tells you everything in one single spot. Ebby Travels, EBIE Travels.com. If you're interested, I mean, he gives you 45 days for free to check it out and work the system and all that stuff. But if you want to become a member, use code Green Logbook, just Green Logbook in all caps, and it'll give you 20% off. But yeah, it's not just for retirees, but there are different categories and priorities. So sometimes some of these flights have like open 70 or 50 open seats. And if you get there early enough and you're on the manifest and they have, like, say you have a family of three and they have three open seats, hey, you got yourself seats going to wherever they're going, Seattle, Hawaii, wherever the heck they're going, East Coast, West Coast, overseas, etc. So like Oliver Rust, he's using Space A to go to the Philippines. Yeah. Yeah. Retired or 100% VA. That's right. Yes. Active duty. So as I understand it, 100% PNT does not have access to overseas flights. Retirees do, and active duty as well. Yeah, I've spoken to people who retire and work minimum hours for an airline just so they can use the flight benefits employees get. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad, man. I wouldn't mind it. I got a little bit of time here. I wouldn't mind working part time for an airline. Maybe not so much Spirit Airline. Well, they don't even exist anymore, but like Frontier Airlines, which always like push back their freaking flights. I've only had that experience one time, and I thought I'd never fly with these folks again. But yeah, I mean that would be smart. I have a buddy of mine who works for JetBlue, that airline, and he gets like buddy passes and flies for free different times of the year, things like that. So that would be awesome. That would be great. You said we've been chewing the fat while you were talking with Big Red. No, all good, man. It was a great conversation with Big Red, and I hope the fat was tasty. Sarge Stackett says, "Dang, I've never been to Hawaii. Would love to go someday. I look like a Samoan." Okay, Samoa. I'd fit right in. Good, man. Yeah. When you go to Hawaii, you look like a Samoan. They're going to ask you, "What high school have you been to? What high school did you go? Were you a Red Raider? Did you go to Kamehameha? What high school did you go to?" And that seems to be the thing out there. Question was Roy Stoddard, if you are retired and 100% PNT, can you still use Space A? You said 100% PNT can't use Space A. So yes, you can use Space A. 100% PNT can use Space A. However, they cannot use it for overseas flights. Retirees can use it for both CONUS and OCONUS flights. You said I didn't go to high school. How? I guess. I mean, if you didn't go to high school, you didn't go to high school. Just see if I remember. Half a die, ma. I think that was where all the Samoans in my said in high school. Half a die, like that's isn't that Guamanian? Oh man, yeah, Locomoco is amazing, dude. Amazing. It's like all like with the gravy and stuff like that on top of the egg and the meat patty. Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, my wife, her and her family are from Hawaii, so we eat like that all the time. Poke and whatever she makes. Sometimes a lot of Filipino food as well, like chicken adobo, things like that. So good stuff. Yeah, Big Red Chamorro. That's right. That's right. Hey, Brian Hahn. Good morning. Good morning, man. Welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, Roy Strada. So yeah, we probably lived around the same area. I also lived in Kailua when I was out there in K Bay. Great place, dude. I miss it. I was actually looking at videos I was making of Kailua um, yesterday. I had uploaded some on a private channel I have, and it brings back a lot of memories. But all my wife's family live on the local side over on the west coast, so not so close to Kailua, but that's like the side where a lot of the service members don't really go to. But I had no choice. We were out there. Yeah, there you go. Half I die. That's right. Excuse me. Yeah. So happy Friday to everybody. This is just a live stream, open discussion on whatever you want to talk about. I mean, Big Red just came on here and we were talking about like knucklehead Marines and investigations and all that good stuff. I mean, it's fun to talk about now during the time while you're in and going through it. It's probably not the most fun because you're having to talk to witnesses and having to figure things out and deal with knucklehead situations. But um, yeah, open discussion, talk about benefits, talk about life after service, current news and updates, and of course, Space A, because I'm looking to do some Space A travel this summer. Big Red says, if you haven't, Golf Clipper, so gorgeous. Yes, I was there during the COVID time. They shut down the golf course, and they actually opened that entire area up for running. So like jogging path, people with strollers, things like that. So it was fun. It was great. Everybody gets promoted or retired on the 13th hole, right? That's like right there by the cliff. So amazing. Uh, Great stuff out there, man. I do miss K-Bay. I do miss that. You go out there like during chow and stuff like that. You want to get away for a little bit. Just go out there by the pier, by the bay, hang out. Nothing better, man. Nothing better. And if you ever, I don't know if anybody's ever gone to like, if you were at K-Bay, go to Coconut Island. We'd always do like unit PT, which is like we rent the kayaks and we kayak. It probably took about 40 minutes. You're kayaking all the way out to Coconut Island. Coconut Island is this observatory, this marine observatory um, run by University of Hawaii, their oceanography and marine biology program. It was amazing because they had all these hammerhead sharks out there. In the back, it had like a spot where it was like an old bar, like made out of like lava rock, where like Elvis used to go out there and hang out and have some drinks out there. So it's a beautiful place, man. Beautiful place. If you ever get a chance to go out there, please definitely do so. Did I hear about the Marine who stole a bunch of ammo and some javelins from base and sell on the streets in Hawaii? No, I didn't. I have not heard of that. When was this? I feel like I would have heard of this if I was out there during the time. Yeah, yeah. 13th hole's nice. We had kids running across the fairway, the surfboards to climb down. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Over on is it North Beach? Is that where it was? North Beach? Yeah, we used to go out there and like Pyramid Rock and all that stuff. We used to go out there and hang out, man, go to the beach. Um, I'm not huge into surfing, but I like paddle boarding. So I used to go out there and do some paddle boarding, not with all those big waves, right? But more like on the secret beach side, where it's like more calm, right across the flight line. Go out there, take a paddle board, and just paddle out. It was amazing. And you know the difference I noticed between Hawaii and California is when I go to the beach in California, it's like it's always packed, man. It really is. It's cars upon cars that just want to like park, and it's hard to find parking. In Hawaii, it was like a way of life, right? You can find parking anywhere. Like people are there throughout the day. They come and go. Some people hang out throughout the day. It was not hard to find parking to go to the beach, man. It's like people just stop there all day, every day. I mean, you can't go really around the island without seeing some blue of the water. So amazing time. Mm. They do have those rentals. I rented one just maybe 2 years ago. Beautiful place, man. You walk right out, right on the sand. Awesome, awesome spot. The only thing is kind of hard to get to there if you got to wait for the flight line to cross, or the airplanes to come through. So at one point we were waiting there for like 30 minutes, just kind of waiting for the planes to land and go across the flight line. So that could be a pain, but if you're willing to wait, it is a nice spot. It is a nice spot. Absolutely. Yes. I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. Thoroughly. There was a there was a lot of housing. There's actually a Facebook page that talks about this, dedicated to this, and I can't remember what it was, but it's like um Kaneohe Bay spiritual phenomena or something like that. So there's a lot of the base, especially behind the rifle range. It's built on, or at least it's untouched, right? But there's a lot of burial grounds around behind the rifle range, and the talk of it was that a lot of some of the base housing was built near burial grounds, and if you go, they're probably built up now, but when I went over there, it was like a ghost town. You could drive there. I'd be on duty. You can drive down these base housing roads, and they were completely empty. They were just shells of homes, right? Because they've taken everything out. There's just concrete blocks that made up the homes, and for to be built up in the future. And it was kind of an eerie feeling when you drive through there. But there's a whole Facebook page dedicated to this stuff. It's kind of interesting if you believe in that kind of stuff. I've not been to the Marines Memorial Hotel in San Francisco. I've been to San Francisco one time, and I think that was good enough for me. That was good enough for me, dude. Went out to Alcatraz, went out, see that winding road and things like that. But um, really windy and a lot of homeless people is what I found. And I think like Los Angeles feels that same way as well. Not as windy, but a lot of homeless people. When I went to this vet event yesterday, I got to talking with that gentleman from the American Legion and talking about how UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, is their how it has been causing some issues with the veteran housing that's supposed to go up behind UCLA. So right now, UCLA's baseball team, their baseball field, is on land that was supposed to be for veteran housing, and there's issues there where, like, hey, they share that baseball field with high some prominent high school there, Brentwood, I think, high school, and it's right by Beverly Hills, so it's like very, very high cost out there. So they're giving a lot of pushback when it comes to building the veteran housing out there, the veteran complex. So I've been kind of tracking that. He mentioned it yesterday. I'm like, huh, that brings it back to light. Let me check that out. If anybody has ever heard of that, check it out. How UCLA's baseball stadium or baseball field is on grounds that are supposed to be used for veteran housing. Uh, Look it up. San Fran is gross, but the hotel is a Marine Corps treasure. Oh man, yeah, I'll definitely check it out, man. The one that I loved, there's a hotel in Japan. It's like 2 subway stops away from Tokyo. It's called the New Sano. If you've ever heard of it, amazing. There's even like a little NEX inside, Navy Exchange inside, like a small one, right? Like the size of a convenience store. But amazing. It's beautiful, man. There's like like 5 restaurants inside, like all these dark woods. Ron Burgundy would be proud. He would be proud. But it's beautiful, and it's so close to everything. So anytime we go out to Tokyo, or to Japan in general, that is kind of like our home base. It's either that or stay on Yokosuka Naval Station. So I mean, fairly close to each other. but the new Sano is amazing. Like and likewise, if you are in Hawaii, you stay at the oh gosh, what's it called? The Halikoa. The Halikoa. It's right there downtown, beachfront, right next to like the Hilton Hawaiian and all that stuff. Beautiful place, man. They just redid like the all the outdoor water park area that they had in the back. Before it was just pools, and then they did all these cool things with slides and made it like very family friendly. But the Halikoa is amazing if you ever get a chance to go out there. Yeah, Roy Estrada, man. I was over in Camp Horno myself. I worked out in Camp Horno for a little bit, maybe 2 years, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. I think I was living in Oceanside, so I think we had to go up to like the Basilone Gate and then come back down. I can't recall, but yeah, it was quite a ways once you get on Pendleton to get into Camp Horno. I remember that. 2 years. Yeah, yeah, it's great stuff out there. Dragon Hill. You would walk to the train station, come back at late 3 a.m. Yeah, it was good, man. And it was very convenient to be at the New Sando. It was a very convenient location. You get off the train, you walk there, and there you are. They had an awesome fitness center up there. They had a pool, the NEX. They had a nice breakfast, man. It was great. It was really great. Raider, welcome, dude. Welcome. Good to see you, buddy. Just open discussion this morning. Happy Friday to everybody. And just if anybody wants to talk about vet benefits, life after the service, current news. Just had Big Red on the live stream here talking about how he had knucklehead Marines doing knucklehead things as they do. So hopefully I can write a book about that one day and everybody can share their experiences. Not me writing a book. Everybody can take part in this book and share their experiences about the most knucklehead experiences that they've ever had while in the service. Great stuff, man. Yeah, it really is, man. I agree. Big Red, very nice location. Um, very much look forward to going back to Japan here, probably in the next year to hang out. It's just a beautiful culture. I love it out there. Very respectable, very clean. Um, I could live out there. I really could. Uh, PC Coffee 1776. That's a cool name, man. K-Bay was a nice dewey station. I did get rock fever though. Okay, so rock fever is like island fever, right? Like you you got sick of being on the island. Um, I'll tell you, I never got that. I like I had mentioned before, I got a lot of family that lived out in Hawaii, so we were always around family. We just had to, we just drove out to their place. I was stationed over on K Bay. We live in Kailua, but they lived over on the other side of the island, so we'd go there all the time. Great stuff. Great place to be. Beautiful place, man. Beautiful place. And I think there was a few times where you'd be on the beach over in Kailua or Lanikai. You'd see like randomly you'd be laying there or just walking down. You see like celebs walking there. I'm like, oh shit, that's the guy from NCIS or that's the guy from whatever. Pretty cool. I mean, it's high cost of living out there and beautiful area, so it's going to attract folks. If you go, let me know. I can patch you to the deck commander at the embassy and get you a behind the scenes embassy tour. Yeah, man. You're talking about Japan? You're talking about Tokyo? The E Club, man. The E Club. I never get sick of duty. They call the E Club. So they had a crazy E Club in Okinawa. It was a Camp Foster. I think it was Camp Foster. They had this. I forgot the name of the E Club out there, but I remember as a young Marine, I went out there, and it was like a they had like a DJ booth up top. You'd walk in, there was like a big dance floor, a bunch of pool tables. Um, it was like the craziest looking E Club I had ever seen ever. Um, so I, yeah, E Club is pretty. They're pretty cool. Over in Camp Pendleton, they had something called the Double Deuce. It was in the 22 area. That was the E Club out there. Those were okay, man, but I was never really a big fan of the E Clubs. Kadena had a crazy E Club. I remember Kadena's the Banyan Room, I think it was called the Banyan Room, and I wasn't a big fan of that one. It was cool, but uh, my feet were sticking to like my shoes were sticking to the carpet. Like they never cleaned the carpet. So it was kind of weird to walk in like it's like you're walking on honey or something. It's kind of strange. Um, and it had a weird smell. So that's just maybe it's just me. But it was kind of crazy though, the Banyan Room. I think that was the one in Kadena. Uh Big Red, yeah, absolutely Tokyo, dude. Let me actually let me write that down because I am planning on going here and probably in the next year or so. Big Red, 324 Embassy. That'd be cool, man. So is it just a tour for me or is it a tour that I can bring like the family on as well? 66 T Love, welcome, welcome. So everybody just joining us today is just kind of an open discussion, open forum on anything really you want to talk about. Talking about vet benefits, talking about life after service, current news. Again, we just had Big Red on the line, Big Red 1324, talking about just silly things that knucklehead Marines do while in service, and just crazy experiences and investigations and things like that. And I love talking about this stuff, about investigations. I could talk about this stuff all day. I was at one time in investigations OIC while I was in uniform, so Jagman investigations. So I was constantly in that world. So again, very well versed in how those things go, findings of facts, recommendations, preliminary inquiries, all that good stuff. So very cool, very cool. The Fiddler's Green in Pulgas is elite. I can't say that I've been there. The Fiddler's Green, I've not. I was gosh, what rank was I when I was back there around Pulgas? Well, I was at Camp Horno, right? So I was a corporal. Yeah, corporal around that time. Kadena, when I was there last, Marines were banned from Kadena. Kadena is the Air Force base, right? As I remember it, Marines were banned. We're banned from the Air Force base. That goes to tell you something, right? These freaking knuckleheads out there can't. I'll tell you, Oliver Russ, man, you bring up being, talking about knucklehead Marines and band and all that stuff. Not that this has anything to do with band, but there's a one time when I was on duty, on staff duty, and we had a transient barracks, and there was the air wing barracks, and they were doing some kind of exercises, right? And they had put a bunch of the infantry, an infantry unit, and I can't recall which one it was, across from the thing. You had that little sidewalk in the middle, and it was across from the air wing barracks. And of course, there's going to be some heated conversations between the air wingers and the infantry guys. And it just so happens that yours truly was on duty that day, which was extra fun, right? I was the chief warrant officer who had duty, and I'm just riding around in my little Ford, whatever the hell it is, with the little government plates, doing with my little logbook, checking with the barracks, making sure everything's okay, the barracks duty. And sure enough, they were having a party. I think the air wingers were having a party where they were like dressed in like high heels and like blonde wigs. I don't know what kind of a party this was, but I kind of had to get in the middle of this because then all I saw was like high heels and blonde wigs flying all over the place and just like tussling and punches being thrown. And I'm wondering what the hell's happening here. So obviously I wasn't going to break up like 30 people fighting. I try to get some order, but of course, the barracks duty had to call the MPs and or PMO to show up, which is kind of exciting. It's kind of funny to see just a bunch of knucklehead Marines and dressed up like in drag, I suppose, fighting. Studebakers. No, I don't know what Studebakers is here. I was at K-Bay earlier 90s. We always went otherwise and snuck into a bar called Studebakers. I don't know. I've not heard of that one. Last time I was in K-Bay was in 2020. 2020. Yeah, so I got there 2017 to 2020. Yeah. That would never happen from the chair force. Yeah. I am not sure whether or not it was a tailhook convention. I'm not an air winger. I don't know what that even means. I know what a tailhook is, right? It doesn't stop the planes from going off the runway. But I'm afraid to ask on a live stream what a tailhook convention is. So maybe I'll just use my imagination on that one. But yeah, as I mentioned last night, I stopped by this veterans event. A lot of folks there. I usually don't stop by these events. I don't like to be around large crowds and things like that. So, but I happened to stop by. It was just kind of a networking thing. A bunch of like local businesses, a bunch of veteran nonprofits, a bunch of vets there doing good things. And I had I had a little. They had me wear a little name tag. And when I checked in, it said Vic, the Green Logbook, and people were like, "What is the Green Logbook?" I was like, hold on a second, have a seat, and I give them my card or whatever, and we just talked, and I had a really good conversation with the spokesperson that runs all the American Legions in California, and also another one who runs a bunch of these veteran events across all these different counties. So it was pretty exciting to see. I mean, you never know who you're going to run into at some of these events, so it's pretty exciting to kind of get out of the space, out of your four walls, and go check this stuff out. I wasn't going to go, but I was invited via a VFW event I had attended, and I always run into this one guy. He's a Navy veteran, and he runs this coffee shop out here in San Diego, and always run into him. So I think we were just talking about it too. They're like, hey, he's like, hey, would love to be a sponsor. Would love to see how we can work something out. Let's do it, because I love coffee. I drink coffee, and would love to promote your stuff, man. Why not, right? The veteran-run coffee shop. What better? It looks like Big Red knows about the tail hook convention, dude. I mean, I suppose I can. Let me Google this real quick. Is it Googleable? I don't know. Tail hook convention. I'm seeing something about a scandal. I'll read about it here in a second. Raider, dude, what's going on with you, buddy? How can we assist? Marvin Jenkins, 4901. Welcome, all from Milwaukee. Awesome, dude. Welcome. Well, welcome to the Green Logbook, man. Good to have you. I don't network so. Raider, man, if you want to talk about that, we can. I mean, it could be like a one-on-one with me and you, but it's been I don't like to network so much, but I don't mind talking to folks about this stuff, and it has led to several sponsors for the channel. So it's worked out pretty well. So if you want to talk one-on-one, man, we can definitely talk about it. It's definitely great for the channel, and it could definitely work out for yours. But there is a little bit of kind of getting outside the comfort zone that needs to happen with that as well. or even, I mean, your channel is a well-known one, so you can utilize that as leverage for sponsorships as well. So we can definitely talk about it. Yeah. So my thing, Raider, is my big thing personally. I don't. I would rather promote companies that I have either used or know of or trust, and not have to ask vets, me personally, for cash. So at least that's how I run my thing, and that's always kind of been my thing. So um, I don't know. That's just me personally. Not saying anybody else is doing anything wrong. It's just that's how I ran the sponsorships, and I thought, hey, look, there's an in here with sponsors. People want to get their information out about their organization or company out there. So um, why not open that door for them and then help out the channel a little bit. But we can definitely talk about that, man. Yeah, Big Red, man. I just Googled it and I got it open here, so I'm going to definitely read about it. Something about some kind of 1991 scandal. Um, let me look at it real quick. Oh, hell no. Oh, God. I'm not going to share that on the live stream. If you want to, please Google it. But yeah, I just looked at the Tailhook Convention, some kind of scandal that happened here. Yeah. So backwards law. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, man. Oh, man. A lot of stuff going on. Yeah, if it's a tradition, they're probably gonna keep it going. Um, that was the one that everyone heard about, but they had them all the time before and after that. Yeah. If it's a tradition, they're probably gonna keep it going, but I'm sure that they talked a little bit about it, like, "Hey, let's not do this thing that led to this 1991 scandal." So oh, I'm sure it made a bunch of changes across the DON, the Department of the Navy. Uh, Anything of that magnitude in that I'm sure there was a ton of news coverage on it too. Anything of that magnitude would have absolutely caused some changes. There's a lot of coverage on this stuff, man. I have to check that out. But yeah, so this summer I'm engaging in Space A. Space A. So something I haven't done in quite some time. The last time I took Space A, I was in Okinawa. I was in Iwakuni, and I flew over to Okinawa. No, that was maybe two Space A's ago. Anyhow, I did not do my research on the weather patterns, and I flew to Okinawa during a typhoon, which meant that I was stuck on Kadina's whatever lodging uh, for that weekend. It was a long weekend. I was stuck there and without any food. The only food that there was the candy machines, and those were all like just raided. There was nothing else left. So kind of a pain. But this time around, I'll probably do my research on the weather and jump on a Space A, man. It's like 27 bucks. 27 bucks to jump on a Space A to fly somewhere. And from here, from like Southern California, you got several stations that fly out from here. And a lot of times they fly out to Hawaii. Some fly out to Seattle. I don't know. I think the Patriot Express is closed off now. So those Expresses, that's what I flew to Iwakuni, Japan. Those fly out to Japan, and then they bounce around to I think Europe as well. So a lot of places you can go explore. The thing is, you want to make sure that you have money to come back, just in case you can't get a Space A on the way back. That was always a thing. So make sure you have funding for that just in case. And also, what worries me is when you have boots on the ground, when you leave when you get on Space A, you got to have some kind of plan for lodging there. Because if you don't have lodging, where are you going to stay? You can't stay at the terminal. I suppose I don't know if you could or not. I don't know, but you got to have some kind of plan for lodging. If anybody has taken Space A here before, like in the recent years, how did you deal with that? With like getting off, like as soon as you get on the manifest, seats available for you and your family, or just you. How did you deal with lodging? Did you immediately go on and get like a hotel? Did you already have something in place? With a cancellation? How did you deal with that? Yeah, that's right. Mac flights, Oliver Russ, Mac flights. That's right. Oh yeah, when you have things like this, Big Red, there's always going to be a safety brief. There's always going to be something in place saying, "Hey, don't do this. We're about to do that." Like mess nights or whatever it is. These kind of conventions. If you fly Space A, I think you can go to the BEQ or BOQ. Right? Never did it. I suppose you could, uh, but what about Space A with like families? With families, like I don't assume that you can get into like a BOQ or a BQ with family, right? That's just like bachelor enlisted quarters or bachelor officer quarters. So that's only for like one person, I think. Should put together, let's see, should put together friends and family with guest rooms for service members. Yeah, I think like find a Hawaii would be easier for us since we have family there. We could just stay with family out there. I suppose we'd have to rent a car. There was a time during like COVID where the car rentals were so high priced. It was like during the end of COVID. I can't recall when, but car rentals went from like $100 a day to like $500-600 a day. So people were getting smart and actually renting U-Hauls, and just driving U-Hauls around Honolulu because they were still like $99 or $19, whatever each way. He says should put together friends and family with guest rooms for service members. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing is, if you could potentially get on a SpaceX flight where you have family or friends located out there, that would probably be the best way to do it. Again, like for me, Hawaii would be great. Um, I don't know where else I can go. Like John, my co-host from Military Retirement Podcast, is over in Italy. I doubt that I'd be able to get to Italy through a Space A, but if worse comes to worse, I mean, if it works out, I can swing back. Why not? Yeah, yeah. Go and ask the barracks duty. Yeah, I don't know if I can go and ask the barracks duty, like looking like this, just being like an old retiree guy. If I can get a room, they used to have when we used to go out to Foster. I think it was Camp Foster in Okinawa. They used to have across the street from the E Club. They had like these old condemned barracks, the West something. I can't remember the name of it. And these old condemned barracks, man. And it was like $5 a night to sleep there. Um, if you wanted to have a place to sleep. And it was just terrible. It was just like it was literally a mattress. Like you don't have anything. It was I don't even know who I was paying, like a duty. I don't know who I was paying, but they just let you sleep there. And it was like one big shared bathroom in the middle. Just terrible looking, but it was a place to sleep. Flying a Greyhound. Oh man. Yeah, you know, that's probably the biggest thing for me is taking the space A is where the heck am I going to stay depending on where I am. Yeah, so that I did see that the East Coast has more flights over to Europe than does the West Coast. So that I mean that's a potential there. Um, a potential to get out to Europe. So I mean, we're probably going to have a month to just hang out and figure out where we want to go. So I'm not too worried about skipping from one place to another or spending a couple days here, a couple days there. It is what it is. We budgeted for kind of a space age trip, and just wherever we end up, man. Just wherever on the map, wherever the flights go is where we go. I'm not too worried about it. Just want to try it out, explore a little bit, and see where the world takes me. Big Red, dude, you seem to have some experiences about everything, man. I've got amazing stories about condemned barracks in Sigonella. Dude, the condemned barracks are, yeah, they're the garbage, dude. Also, maybe Dover Air Force, but yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so anybody who's just joining us, just open discussion on any topics you want to talk about today. Nothing really planned as far as like specific topics. There's a couple things that I'm looking into, a couple like pieces of legislation, stuff like that, that I'm interested in, a couple pieces of psychology and stuff like that that I'm looking into. But if you want to talk about vet benefits, life after the service, current news and updates, things like that, I am open to that discussion. Open to that discussion. See, I found something in this book I was reading and I underlined it. Maybe I'll share it with you all. Give me a second here. I went to the VA this past week and um, I took a number. I took a number and there were still like 30 or 40 numbers in front of me. So I'm like, look, I'll just come another day, dude, because this thing is insanely taking insanely long. I was just wasting the whole all my time there. Yeah. So let me share this with you all. This is this book here, Courage to be Disliked. Very interesting. I underlined this piece here. Um, the this chapter is called "Listen to the Voice of a Larger Community," and I underlined this. It's a dialogue between this philosopher and this kid that he's talking to, and he mentions a man who, on reaching retirement age and stopping work, quickly loses his vitality and becomes depressed. I'm curious about what you all think about that. I mean, I kind of understand that, right? Like if you don't have a purpose, if you don't have a reason to keep going and towards something, uh, I assume people become depressed, right? Curious your thoughts on that. Hey, good for joining. Thanks for joining us, Backwoods Law. Jack of trades. How many trades? Of all trades or of some? Jack of trades, 1067. Welcome to the chat. Good to have you. He said, I was a radio grunt. I'll sleep anywhere. Yeah, that's that. So that is what I'm afraid of too, is using it to go somewhere and then having to buy a ticket back. I mean, I'm prepped for it because I expect you got to expect that the unexpected, right? So I was always told if you're going to take a space, say, sure you have enough budgeted to make your way back. So, Big Red, I met retirees who had friends pass away after retiring and stopped doing anything. An object in motion stays in motion. Staying active is the key. Yes, I completely agree with that. Um, yeah, that is the issue with the word retirement, with the whole retirement thing, right? Means you stop and you're like hanging out on the beach or whatever, closed off somewhere and just enjoying the remainder of your days. But it's different, I think, when it's military retirement, because that is, I mean, shit. When I retired, I was 40, still young enough to do something else. That doesn't mean that I'm useless. I mean, even like as retirement at like was 60, 65, 67 doesn't mean that that's the end of your life, or that you are useless. You still have a lot of life to live. So yeah, I just found it kind of interesting that as I was thinking about that myself, I came across that one passage in this book and I'm like, huh, let me think about that. A man who, on reaching retirement age and stopping work, quickly loses his vitality and becomes depressed. So you got to keep going. You got to find yourself. You got to find yourself something that gives you the purpose, gives you that meaning. Yeah, finding purpose. Finding a purpose is tough after retirement, but not impossible. That's right, man. Yeah, Jack of Trades. That is the plan for this summer. Is just seeing where Space A takes me. I plan on. It's been a few years since I've taken it, but since I'm retired and all that, I rate the OCONUS outside of the continental U.S. Flights. So plan on using that to the fullest. I mean, I don't know how much it is for the fuel surcharge that they charge you. I think it's like 27 bucks, 30 bucks, something like that, but it's still a lot cheaper than it is for, I don't know, a $1,300 flight per person somewhere. So might as well take advantage of that while we can. The 10331. Keep up the good work. Semper Fi, killer. Right. Semper Fi back. Yes. You had the freedom of choice to find your next mission. That, excuse me, that is something I wrote down the other day, is the freedom to do whatever you want now. The freedom to do whatever it is that is your calling, per se. Um, when I was yesterday, when I went to this veterans event, uh, you go around, you shake hands with people, and people will tell you their titles. Hey, I'm the director of so and so. I'm this. I'm that. And then they'd ask me, "What do you do? What brings you here?" Because it was a bunch of veteran businesses and veterans, and not a job fair per se, but it was just a bunch of vets, a bunch of veteran businesses, veteran-owned businesses, and nonprofits. And they're like, "So what do you do?" I'm like, "Well, I do some consulting." And I always laugh when they ask me that. I'm like, "Well, like, what do I do?" I do a little bit of everything. I have an online business, do some consulting. I run a YouTube channel and a podcast and have sponsorships and things like that. So that helps out a little bit. And they're like, huh. So I've gotten to the point where I'm not chasing titles anymore. I simply am not. Like, cool, director of this, or, you know, uh, OIC of this, or whatever it is. I'm not chasing that trash anymore. It's just, I'm just, I'm looking at simplicity and what really matters. And what really matters to me is, having a good time with the rest of my life, having a good time with my family, with friends, just making it worthwhile. Yeah, Big Red, absolutely, dude. So I'll tell you what, this Sunday, and thank you for coming by, but this Sunday, I think we are talking about crazy or wild military stories. If you wanted to stop by and, jump on the live stream at some point, we'd love to have you. Thanks for coming by and sharing your experience, brother. Yeah, my brother used to fly Space A with his boys all the time. And you know what? That is awesome. I love that because I plan on doing that with my boys this summer and just having the experience. The one thing I cannot fathom about what I hate thinking about is these kids sitting on their video games. Like I got them that Meta Quest VR for Christmas, and they're freaking stuck on that trash. And I tell them, hey, let's go outside and play some baseball. Let's go ball a little bit. Let's go do something else. And they're for it, but I have to get them off that trash. So rather than have them be on the damn video games all day or on YouTube or brain rot shorts, let's go explore different cultures, something new. Let's see how far we can take the space A thing. That'd be cool. The 10331, build your foundation and continue to give people your time. Reach out to fellow service members and, if possible, a mentor sometime. Great advice, dude. I love that. I love that. Yeah, I'm continuously, the foundation is continuously being built. So I love that. Reach out to fellow service members. Absolutely. And a mentor. See, that's one thing I've had mentors throughout my time in the military. And afterwards, I kind of just I stopped doing that. Stop. Not that I stopped being in contact with them. It's just I don't seek out their stuff anymore. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad. Like after you left the military, did you continue with mentorship? Did you continue seeking out mentorship? Like whether it is for professional reasons or for personal life reasons, do you have a mentor right now, or are you a mentor to somebody right now? I'm curious about that. Put that in the chat. Brian Hahn, that freedom shocks a lot of people. Without direction can be scary. Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. I've explained it at one point. It's like being in the middle of the ocean in a small boat without a paddle. Do you have no direction? You have nowhere to go. You're just going with wherever the waves take you, and it might not take you where you want to go. So it is kind of scary. It is. So we definitely need some direction. And there's three things that I brought up in my other video, like folks who want to take time off after the military but don't know exactly if it'll work out for them. Three things that I came up with that will help you out. That is having a budget and being financially able to take some time off. That is establishing a routine and not just like wandering aimlessly day by day, and then having a mission, having a goal to work toward. Like, hey, I want to take time off and potentially build a deck in my backyard, or maybe start a new business or something like that. Have like a goal. If you don't have those things, man, you're just gonna be wandering aimlessly, just walking with your hands behind your back, bumping into walls, wondering what's next for me. Right. I'm the director of food supply to Luna Great Dane LLC. Yeah, your dog might eat more than my dog, man. I have a Chihuahua pug, and yeah, I don't. I'm sure it's a lot less food than you have to provide your Great Dane. Yeah, glad he got promoted to meritorious retiree. That's right, dude. Yeah, it's a great time. I'll tell you that it is a great time. Being able to have the freedom to do what you like to do, that is such a blessing. It really is. Oh, hold on a second. I almost skipped one. 947 days and left until retirement. Can't wait. Ready for the next chapter and freedom. That's excellent, dude. That's impressive that you're keeping track 947 days prior to, man. I'm curious, Brian. Am I saying this? Brian Slushy, 4822. Welcome to the Green Logbook, man. I'm curious. What are your plans after retirement? Is this military retirement or like just regular retirement and in your 60s? Her Vet's Voice. Welcome to the Green Logbook. Hello, everyone. Great discussion. Well, great to have you, Her Vet's Voice. I've seen some of your stuff, and you're doing some great things for the community. I do appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, so all the folks that are just joining, this is just open discussion. Um, it's a Friday, kind of chill day, Uh, finished up some homework or started some homework, logged in this morning, and I thought, you know what, let me just knock out a live stream this morning and just see how people are doing out there. I just kind of a weekly check in to see how the fellow vets are doing throughout the week. Talking about veteran benefits, talking about life after service, talking about current news or current events, anything like that, whatever is on your mind. I know I brought up Space A flights because I do intend on using Space A this summer. It is a very good benefit and perk that retirees have, and those who are 100% PNT, I believe, 100% VA disabled PNT, they have that perk as well. So it works different categories, things like that, as far as priorities to get on a plane, but it is there for you. Herbert's Voice. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I love that. Brian Slushy. Damn, I love that name, man. Good stuff. Military retirement, continue real estate buying and flipping. Awesome. Had to take a break to go over the pond to the sandbox for the last deployment. All right. Are you, well, you don't have to share when you're going on deployment or anything like that. I understand how all that works, but hopefully if you're on your way out there, much luck to you, and then hoping that everything goes well. And if you just recently made it back, welcome back. Buying and flipping real estate. I'm curious, where are you buying and flipping real estate? That's pretty cool. I'm also looking into something like that. Not, it's harder in California, but we're also looking at another place as well. So looking to build something of a portfolio. But I'm curious where you're looking to do your buying and flipping. The 10331, need help with Space A. I used it a lot in the past. Never had a bad experience. Yeah. So the thing with Space A is we're going to be using it this summer. We have the perk, right? We have the benefit. I have it as a retiree. So I really want to make use of all the benefits that we have, that I'm eligible for. So it's just it's gonna be me, my boys, and we're just gonna take it as far as we can, wherever the Space A flies, and then bounce around as much as we can, potentially for like a month or so. We'll see how it goes. Of course, we're budgeting this stuff, seeing how if we don't have enough or if we can't find a Space A on the way back, we have enough to be able to come back if we need to. My thing was, with especially flying with a family, right? You're not always guaranteed a seat, of course, right? You have to, when they announce the seats, you got to hope that you're registered for it. And how do you lock on lodging? Like, how do you know when to lock on lodging? I've never done this before. Like, excuse me, I've taken 2 Space A's before, but I had lodging already locked on, so kind of worked out just fine. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, I don't know if we're going to be able to get a seat. So do I lock on lodging before and with the cancellation clause? Or as soon as you get a seat, do you immediately go on your phone and lock on lodging? Like, what do people normally do? Mr. Mario 3804, my Guatemalan brother from another mother. What's going on, man? It's going well. Good to see you on here, bud. Yes. Yeah, this is huge. I'm glad you brought that up, Brian Hahn. Education benefits, can't go wrong with getting more education, especially now in today's world, dude. Things are moving so fast, and things are. I was just listening to a podcast yesterday. Shoot, I can't remember. I have like a rotation of like 20 podcasts. I probably should shrink that down a little bit. But they were talking about how the AI thing, right? How that's going to be taking a lot of the white collar jobs. So like the trades are probably like a safer bet. Um, but yeah, education is huge. Education is huge. So especially if you have access to like VRE, especially if you have access to GI Bill benefits, and now that they are opening up the Vet Tech 2.0, the VA. It's not even open for registration yet. It opens in June. Like I don't know when in June, but it says June. Um, if you've exhausted all of your GI Bill, if you're up to the age of 62, then you rate Vet Tech 2.0, and they actually give you a monthly housing allowance as well. It's all on the website, Vet Tech 2.0. Check it out. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, real estate in Texas, Houston specifically. Awesome. Yeah, yeah. So I'll be when I do the Space A thing, I'll be documenting it. Like, hey, like from beginning to end. Here's what I'm doing. Here's how how it works at the terminal, and getting on the flight, getting off, lodging and all that stuff. Then getting back. So I'll be documenting all this stuff and potentially making a video. I got my cameras and stuff here with me, so it'll be fun to document all this. I have been wandering, bumping walls since 2023, but my finances are set at 56 years old. That is that's excellent, dude. Isn't that such a freeing feeling? Like having your stuff set, your finances kind of set on knowing that you're going to be okay. It is a freeing feeling. Congratulations, man. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Mario. Yeah. So if it goes sideways, have enough money to fly back if you need to. Um, Potentially several thousands of dollars if you're flying with a family, right? You might get somewhere uh, for close to free, like Germany, but flying back from Germany is going to cost you a little bit, if you can't find a space A back. So definitely have a plan B for that stuff. But I do plan on documenting all this. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Holy, really, man! Had a space A flight to Southern Texas. Rainy, Air Force wouldn't complete the flight. Walked across the flight line, and an Army helicopter crew said, "Hell yes, we'll take you." That must have been an experience. That's cool, man. That's awesome. No mortgage or car note. I love that, dude. That's great. I'm almost to the no mortgage part, almost. But yeah, haven't had a car note in I don't know how many years, and yeah, it's life. Life is all right. Life is all right. Zero debt is the way to be. Well, except for the mortgage right now, right? But zero debt is the way to be. That's probably the biggest thing I tell folks that who are leaving the service when I do talk to them. Like, hey, you got any, advice, any insight? And I'm like, yeah, get out of debt, dude. If you don't want to start your second chapter of your career owing somebody money, that sucks. If you still owe somebody money, just hey, stay active duty for a little bit until you pay all that stuff off, and then look at getting out. Unless they're okay with owing somebody money on the second chapter of their life, but that ain't me. That's probably my biggest bit of advice to anybody: get out of debt before you leave the service. Yeah, biggest advice to anybody is pay that mortgage off like it's like getting an extra paycheck. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that's good advice too. Like when I had my other job after the Marine Corps, um, I I was either investing some of it or throwing it into the mortgage. So it's like halfway gone. The mortgage is like halfway down. So hopefully I get there soon and then completely debt free, move on to another I suppose, mortgage and rent this place out. I would love to move back to Hawaii, but we'll see how that goes. All right, Brian Hahn, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Yeah, grind until then. So that is my that is kind of where I'm stuck, right? So I've always been into like the grind mentality. Always been into um, just hustle as much as possible. And for the most part, I still do, right? Still have online businesses and still, still do some work and consultations and stuff on the side. Um, but I always feel like I can do more. And it's like, at what point do I just let go of that and just chill a little bit? At what point do I do that and just appreciate life around me? It's always been mission, 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 and it still continues like that to this day. Um, I'm curious for folks out there, like, at what point do you let go of that mission mentality, wanting to always do something, and just take a breather and be able to enjoy life around you? Yeah, keeping up with the Jones is what kills most people. Yeah, that's a pain, man. The comparison. That's I don't know. I don't have a problem with that. I'm completely fine driving my older vehicles and doing what I do. Um, I think I mentioned it before on this channel that some of my neighbors have like boats and these huge, like, I don't know what you call them, Class A RVs, which is like, it looks like a huge rectangle and like an apartment inside. I have no desire for any of that stuff. I mean, it's parked in their driveway. They have these long driveways. I got no desire to have any of that stuff. I'm like, for what? If I need to, I'll just rent one, right? I'll rent one for, I don't know, like $1,000 a week or something. Then I'll give it back. That way I don't have to deal with the upkeep and the maintenance and all that trash. So I have that. Keeping up with the Joneses, I have no issues with. It's the mindset of constant grind and constant hustle. That's the part. Mission, yeah. Yeah, and I think so, man. It's just let it go. It's very freeing. I'm trying to, bro. I'm telling you, I'm trying to. It's just just being on the having that battle rhythm for so long. It's kind of hard to just slam on the brakes. You gotta I gotta ease into it a little bit, I think. Yeah, yeah. I've rented boats from MWR before. Yeah, it's gosh, how much was it? It was like 3 hours for like $90 or something like that. I mean, it was pretty inexpensive. When I was over at K-Bay, they had us get a boating license, but it was like an on-base boating license or whatever, and an MWR boating license. You just have to go on a Saturday and actually ride around the boat, like drive the boat, know where the coral is, know how to read the buoys and all that, the colors. But fairly easy, not too bad. Damn, I'm drinking. It's not even open. So what I'm doing now is, or what I started doing was, I'm thinking about this, releasing like a short video with just questions that I have for folks out there. Questions about, your time in service, time after service, things like that. Like one of them was, did you go straight to work right after the military, or did you take time off after the military? Another one was, what was your biggest hurdle in entering civilian work? When you enter civilian work, was it like, did you have culture shock? Like, were you did you expect something like maybe some discipline, some sort of discipline or camaraderie, and it just wasn't there. Oliver Russ said, I'm still on the mission plantation, maybe to my demise." Man, Brian Hahn, yeah. Don't forget about transportation from the Space A terminal to lodging. Some bases are big. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So probably car rental too, like along with the lodging. You got to lock on car rentals if you're going to be taking Space A. So those are pretty big, pretty big. Seeing if I missed any comments up here. Want to give everybody a shout out. See here. Yeah, if you're just joining us, again, it's just open discussion on vet benefits, life after the service, current news and updates that you might want to discuss, or even like military retirement. I myself am a military retiree. Love to talk about this stuff. Um, Using VRNE, Veterans Readiness and Employment, which is an exceptional benefit to anybody out there. If you can get your foot in the door with VRNE, and essentially you have to, the biggest hurdle is convincing your counselor, your assigned counselor, that you need this degree in order to be, to be an effective whatever it is. So it's tough. Yes, I built a whole video on this and telling you how to do that and how to work your justification. But if anybody has any trouble going and trying to get their foot in the door with VRNE, let me know. I've been there. I've done that. Had an honest conversation with my counselor, and he was a former Marine as well. And he kind of let me know exactly how it goes. So truly thankful for that. Jack of trades. Let's see what you got here. My whole military career, 12 years as a guardsman, which was the same guys. We were like a big family. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that, man. Um, Close knit communities, and that's probably one of the parts that hit the hardest when you leave the service is not having that close knit community anymore. People go their different ways. You might keep in contact via text, but I mean, if you all move across country and do different things, it's it's not the same. It's not the same. I still keep in contact with folks that I deployed with, my entire deployment team. Great conversations. We always, give each other crap on, WhatsApp. We use WhatsApp because one of them lives in Canada now, and we're all living across the country. So, um, but it's never the same unless you actually get together or you're in the same area. 13 Bravo 13 Mike. Um, what is so I'm not familiar with this. What is 13 Bravo 13? Help me out with that. Not sure what that means. Oh, arty. Okay, artillery. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. That's a tough MOS, man. That's a tough MOS. I know a few artillery folks, artillery officers and such. Yeah, it's not easy. I think a friend of mine just got promoted to lieutenant colonel. He is still active duty. I want to say he is an artillery officer, but he also runs. He's an excellent artist. He has a secondary MOS called Combat Artist, and essentially you get attached to different units to paint to draw like these units training and things like that, and it goes into the National Archives, which is amazing. I myself applied to it, didn't make the cut, and unfortunately, but that would have led me to a life beyond 20 years in the military if I would have made that. But things work the way they work for different ways, which makes your mission shift a little bit. But yeah, this gentleman, 40 Mike Art is his name. Shout out to him. Awesome stuff. Great artist. Combat painter. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So 40 Mike, man, he's got, he actually has the MOS. He actually does it in service. I never actually did it in service, but I do like making like military artwork and things like that. And, like pencil drawings and paintings and things like that. It's good. It's good for the mind and the soul, right? Combat painter. Who knew? Yeah. Let's see what we got. Yeah. So if you're just joining us, open discussion, whatever you want to talk about here. I am a Marine Corps retiree. I can talk about Marine Corps retirement, the good, the bad, the ugly of it, veteran benefits, educational benefits, life after the surface, current news and updates, whatever is on your mind. I'm using Space A this summer, so looking forward to learning and to using that and reporting back what I have found about Space A. People say they have good experiences. The other half say they'll never do it again. So we'll see where I stand after this summer. I think for regular service, especially combat arms, have a hard time back to civilian time because of not having a job to do. Yeah, that would be tough, right? Like if you're infantry, what do you do after? You can be a police officer, like a security guard. Um, there's from what I understand, there's a lot of folks. If you continue on in the military, a lot of folks go from like infantry, and then once they hit like higher ranks, maybe after sergeant, they will do a lateral move. They will change to a different MOS to make them more well-rounded, right? To make them, I guess, marketable to outside of the uniform. I've known a few folks to do that. So yeah, it is tough, especially if you're in a combat arms position. What do you do after that? Like if anybody in the room was infantry or something like that, and you got out, like what did you do immediately after that? Like what was your job? What did you get into? I'm curious about that. Like we always talk about the military to civilian transition and how it hits different people different ways. But what if your options are limited? What do you get into? I guess you can go to school and gain some kind of um, education or certification or training, but if you have none of that, what happens then? What do you get into? And here, I'll throw this on the chat here really quick. Though I'm mirroring about 2:30 on here, 2 hours and 30 minutes. I don't mind bringing somebody up on the live stream if you want, maybe for a few minutes, 5 minutes or so, Tell us how your day is going. Tell us how your Friday's going, how everything's going for you after the service. Maybe talk about any kind of veteran benefits, life after the service, things that are on your mind. As long as we keep it clean, of course, right? I don't want to get banned from YouTube or anything like that. So here's the link to the live stream if you feel so compelled to jump on and talk a little bit about what is going on in your life. Give us 5 minutes of your time and let us know. Mario says, I'm a grunt and I became a logistics manager. I took a unit movement officer course. It was a life changer. A unit movement officer course. Okay. Also took advantage of unit movement officer course. I translated to project manager. Now, when you translated that to project manager, did you go and get a PMP as well? Or like, did that unit movement officer course include topics in project management? Because I know PMP is a huge certification, a very sought after certification. But I mean, if project management is kind of it's a heavy lift if you get in with a big company. I don't know that a lot of folks want to do that. At the same time, a lot of folks do. So curious. I've not heard of that before. The unit movement officer course. Let me check that out. Curious about that. Unit movement. So I'll be honest, when I was leaving the uniform, I got into every course I can get into. Like the whole last year was dedicated to getting more certifications in education and training. So I went to get my Lean Six Sigma. I went to what else did I get? The OSHA managers course. I even went as far as became friends with the master sergeant that ran the warehouse, and I'm like, hey, during lunch, can I get my 20 hours of forklift driving? I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was like, man, maybe I'll get into some great position. Maybe I'll become a forklift driver at Walmart. I don't know. I'd like to keep my options open. So I was getting I was reaching for anything I could. So it was kind of funny. Now looking back at it, I'm like, I'm using like none of those things. Excellent. Battle staff course, all about operations that helped me. Excellent, man. See, another disconnect I see is in the different groups of vets, World War II, Korean, etc., don't coordinate to get the knowledge of benefits for the younger vets just getting out. Let me read that one more time. They don't coordinate to get the knowledge of benefits for the younger vets just getting out. Meaning like they don't talk to them to let them know about the benefits, or like the older folks don't translate or don't communicate the benefits to younger folks, or are we talking about vice versa? Maybe I'm reading it wrong. If you can assist me with that. Oh, okay, okay. I see that. Older vets seem to act like gatekeepers. Ah, okay. So I'm curious how we get around that. Like, I understand what you mean. Like how How do we get around that? Mario, what's going on, man? Are you just a silhouette? What am I looking at here?
Yeah, man, I'm dark, bro. A little toasty. Yeah, man. How you
What's
doing,
going on,
brother?
man? Life is good, man. I can't complain.
Oh, okay, man.
Complain. I can
Yeah,
complain, but
so
nobody
I
wants to
kind
hear
of
that trash.
yeah, I hear you, brother. So I took the unit movement officer course. So what the unit movement officer does is he's basically the person that's in charge of moving equipment from place to place, right? So think
Hmm.
of it like a mule. I'm thinking more in a Marine
Yeah.
Corps aspect. Uh, there's usually an XO and there's a unit movement officer, right? And
Hmm.
the unit movement officer is responsible for all the logistics of moving equipment to and from, whether it's
Sure.
railhead, whether it's through freight, whether it's through any other means of transportation, and
Hmm.
it really breaks it down as to how that works. Technically speaking, that's usually only offered to officers, but if you were E7 or above, they would grant you a waiver. So I took
Okay.
advantage of it, man. I had just gotten my E7 at that time.
Yeah.
So it was great, and it really helped me out because we ended up having to do a rotation to Yakima Training
Hmm.
Center up north, and
Washington.
so we ended up having to move all of our equipment from Fort Irwin all the way to Yakima Training Center, and that opened up like all kinds of avenues for me. I got
Yeah.
to network with a lot of folks that work in the logistics field, and they kind of explained to me like how this works, how the logistics field work in the civilian sector. So I took a lot of that information and all those network contacts that I got. And when I got out, that was one of the things that I was looking at. Also, there's another course that I took that's called Battle Staff. So Battle Staff
Hmm.
is basically you're like a staff or like a usually battalion or brigade size element, even division element, where you're basically managing the battlefield, like how units are moving from place to place, providing op orders and providing fragos if there's anything that needs to be
Hmm.
done. So all that stuff really helped me. Now I know that there's a website. I forgot the name of it. Maybe somebody in the side chat might help me, but there's a website where basically you put in all your military experience, your MOSs, whatever you've done, and it translates it to you to civilian format.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what I
I've seen that
did.
before.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the website, but I know
I can't
you
remember
you know.
either.
Yeah, I can't remember either. But it was really helpful because it really helped me put that stuff in my resume and then talk about it when I did the interview. So all that stuff
Hmm.
was what helped me. So I've done a little bit of everything. I've done right now I'm more in the logistics field, but before that I was even doing what they call a reliability engineer, where I was pretty much managing all the equipment for a factory and
Hmm.
managing the maintenance like the maintenance schedules and shutdown times and stuff like that. Any updates and also like maintaining parts, inventory, all that stuff. So all that stuff really helps you, man. If you really get into it. What I did had is I really had a good sergeant major um, who sat down with me as soon as I made my E7. He's like, "Look, man, how many years you got left?" I told him at that time I think I had like maybe four and a half. And
Hmm.
he's like, "All right, so do you plan on staying or do you plan on getting out?" And I told him I'm getting out. So he told me, "Look, man, you got to start taking these courses right now. I'm going to start getting you involved in them, and one is going to benefit you once you get out." And yeah, that's what I did. And there's really a lot of good correspondence courses that deal with logistics, if that's the field that you want to get into, or something similar, or even project management. You could definitely do that as well. It's the
Yeah.
sky's the limit for us. The biggest problem that a lot of our service members do is that they get complacent and they think a lot of that stuff doesn't apply to them, but in some cases it will, especially as you get out into the real world. And
Hmm.
in most cases, they want to see certificates, they want to see what you've done. Um, those are things that are really, you know, are going to help you. I think I also want to kind of tell the audience that if you decide to go into some sort of education program or anything like that, don't be surprised if employers are start asking for GPAs because they are looking at that
Oh
stuff
yeah.
too. How
Yeah. Yeah.
committed were you when you were taking this stuff? So make sure you maintain your GPA pretty high because that's another way for you to kind of put yourself out there
Oh,
compared to other
absolutely.
people. So just because you're a
Absolutely.
grunt or a combat engineer or mechanic or whatever the case may be, don't ever limit yourself short. There's a lot of opportunities out there that if you just take advantage of it, will definitely help you.
Yeah. And so there's like programs through like Onward to Opportunity where they give you the PMP for free, right? Like you just have to commit to the time. But they essentially they give you the training and they pay for, I think it's like the first test. Like they give you pre-tests, uh, but then they also pay for like the first test. And after that, if you fail that, it's up to you, right? Um, but it's there for you. You know, you get the training. I did the training. I kicked myself in the ass because I did the training, and then when it's time for me to take the test, I had everything scheduled. And you can only do it one time around. Then I had a family emergency and I couldn't make it. So I'm like, oh crap. You know, I emailed and they're like, sorry, this is what it is. You know, you already went through it one time. I was like, oh, you know, so it is what it is. But it was training for an entire week. It was there. It was pretty in depth.
Yeah,
So
and but PMP's it's a beast, man. But I mean, if you do
yeah, it
get that
is.
certification, it's like it's like who you can kind of pick and choose who you want to work for, and
Yeah.
that's a blessing in disguise, man. So I'm not really fully committed to doing that because after doing my graduate, I'm like I don't want to do any more schooling, man. you know, I just
Yeah. Yeah.
not sure. I kind of want to take a break from all that, but yeah, I think there's definitely opportunities, especially those that are still in the military. You could definitely take advantage of it. I always tell guys that once you get to your fourth year of you before for a fact you're retiring, you need to start planning. Like you need to
Oh,
start planning.
absolutely.
And the last
It
year
comes at you
you need.
quick.
Oh yeah, exactly. And the last year is where you need to focus more about yourself. I mean, you have to be a little selfish because technically speaking, man, once you get that DD 214, they don't want to do nothing else with you after that, and they're not going to be
That's
there
right.
to help you in any kind of way. So um, you have to start being a little selfish, which is something we're not used to because we're used to being team players. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I just had a talk with a retired Marine yesterday during that veterans event I went to. Said 21 years he was in, and his last year was the toughest year because there was so much expectations from him. Because he was really like the one person who knew how to do this specialized stuff or whatever. So he had to take time to teach his folks, and at the same time go to was it the medical stuff and all the out processing and all that.
Mhm.
It was a pain. He said it was like he never. It was a point in time where he got the least amount of how do you say it of support from his command. Um,
And that's sad. That's really sad.
Experience may vary because I mean for me it was like I walked into my OIC's office and I'm like, hey sir, here's what it is. I'm dropping my papers, my appendix J, and I'm looking to retire. The last year, I'll have the gunny and the staff sergeant on hand, and I'll show them everything I got, and things will be covered. Essentially, I got my government cell phone. I'll be on call, whatever you need, but I need to take care of this. This communication flowed, and as long as you have that, I think things will be okay. But not
Yeah,
everybody has that.
yeah. Not everybody has that kind of chain of command, though, man. That's the problem.
Yeah, yeah,
You probably had a really good OIC who was kind of looking out for you and making sure that you were taken care of, and that's a mark of a good leader right there. You
yeah,
know,
absolutely.
um, but yeah. So I've been kind of busy at work. I haven't had a chance to go into your chats. What have you you've been doing lately? I know I've seen some interviews you done, but
Yeah, just hanging out, man. I've been working with a few companies for sponsorships, so that's always fun, right? Getting a
that's
hold of
awesome.
folks who want to support the channel, and in
Right,
turn, I support them, right?
right.
Hold on. Before that, I want to say what's up to Mo Perspective. Awesome, awesome YouTuber. She has some great live stream stuff. Definitely go check her out. Anybody
Awesome.
in the
I'll
chat,
definitely check her out for sure.
but yeah, man, it's been just school, a lot of school. Um, just last was on Friday. This past Friday was my last class. Not my last class, but the class I just finished. But I had to turn in an 8-page paper, which like maybe I didn't read it right, but I was like, they hit you with, hey, 3-page paper every week, 3-page paper every week, and all of a sudden it's like 8-page, and I thought, okay, well, I I thought all along like it's another 3-page paper, and I'm like, shit, it's an 8-page, you know. I'm like, oh, okay, well, now I got to double time this and knock this thing out. So, man, it's been school, and you know, folks think, hey, I got this GI Bill, I got this VRE, great benefits, by all
Hmm.
means, great benefits, but you gotta like shift
Yeah.
into that academic mindset.
Oh yeah.
So it's not easy by any means.
Yeah.
Like you got to
No,
put some
no.
work into it.
I know how you feel because I used to be doing, doing everything plus on top of that, doing my homework. I remember I used to go to sleep to like midnight almost every night,
Yeah, yeah,
because it was crazy. I had some really difficult professors, man. Oh my God. They were just, I had a lot of ticky tacky type of professors, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Down
they,
in the
they,
details.
yeah. I mean, in a way, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, yeah, it just took a lot of my time, a lot of researching. That
Yeah,
thing is the hardest part, just learning
it
how to
is.
research. Yeah, yeah, that's why I think I got a little burned out, man. Because once I did finish my graduate, and I was like, I didn't care for it much,
Oh
and
no, dude. I need to keep this thing going. Like if once I have this momentum, if I stop,
right.
it's be
Well,
bad.
yeah, you're committed now. You got no other choice.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I like. Um,
Hmm.
so I'm like right now, I'm about halfway done with the masters. So I'm trying to figure out what's next. Like I've had a talk with my instructors, and they're all PhDs, right? They're like, hey, yeah, maybe you should look at the PhD. And
It's a
I'm like,
monster,
well,
bro.
maybe we'll see, because it is a monster. But I'm also looking at law school as well. So I'm like, well,
Hmm.
maybe I got to see which one I want to do. Which one? I come from
Well,
a military justice background, so I'm like that kind of
right.
interests me as well.
So let me ask you this: if you would become an attorney, what type of
Mhm.
attorney would you become? What is it you want to do?
Mm, I'm interested in like veteran law, and I'm interested in immigration law.
Okay. Good
Immigration
for
law,
that.
yeah. So I did again many years of military justice. I can tell you the UCMJ almost like the back of my hand. I'm sure I'm a little
Mm.
rusty on some of it since I've not kept up with it as much, but that was kind of like my bread and butter, man. Going and reading, reciting the UCMJ, like because I read it every day. Now that is not what law school is all about, but
No.
I'm very interested in immigration law. Very interested in helping vets with whatever they have going on as far as like the laws.
Right.
I read it anyway. Why not? Why not
Why
look
not
at it?
make? Yeah.
Yeah, make it a new career.
No, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
I think it's whatever you feel passionate about doing it, because this is the second part of your career life.
Yeah.
Whatever is it you want to call it. You definitely want to do something that you're passionate about doing, because let's stop and think about it. When you and I are in the military, we were passionate about what we did. It's like
Hmm.
we took pride in everything we did.
Yep.
So I think immigration law is great. Um, the only the only issue I see with immigration law is that it changes so much, and
Hmm.
it's hard to keep up with it. So that's probably the only downside to immigration law. But I think when you do the work and you actually help people, that's really one of the best things in the world.
Yeah.
Um,
And the only reason, well, one of the only reasons why I'm exploring law is because my wife tells me I can't shut up, and I always have to be right about something. So I'm very, and though in that aspect I'm very argumentative, because I'm
yeah,
like, no, 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 per this is why this is like this. So
you
so
remind me of my cousin Vinny, man.
yeah, like that, man.
Yeah,
I have to cite the sources, right? Like I'm like, no, no, no,
yeah,
you've not read that correctly. Look at the source, and I'm
yeah.
telling you this is why it's like this. And my wife is like, man, shut up, dude. Like, can you just like chill for
You can't, man. You know, it's
yeah,
like
my
you have
cousin
that
Vinny. Yeah,
ingrained in you.
yeah.
But that'd be great, man. Because doctorate, to be honest with you, man, like, what would you want to do? You want to be a professor, or what would you want to do?
Um, I I wouldn't mind being a professor. I'm very intrigued by psychology and
Okay,
understanding how the mind works, especially like
okay.
veterans' mindsets, how they all work.
So,
Um, but I feel like there at some point in time there would be. I like doing it on my own time.
mm,
Um, I don't know that. Like I have books upon books on psychology because I like reading about it.
hmm,
Don't know once things become they go from a hobby to a job, then it becomes a job, becomes real. Like it's like, okay, well, I'm not having fun anymore, and I don't want it to become that. So
right.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I think it would be good because you'll be able to help other veterans. But and talking to a friend of mine who's a therapist, is that sometimes whether you like it or not, you sometimes take your job home with you, and it kind of wears you
Yeah,
out mentally. So it's like that's probably the only issue with that. But I mean, if you look at it as a bigger picture of you're making a difference, like that's what a lot of us join the military for. You wanted to make a
yeah.
difference, right? So I mean, and
Well,
I
that's
think
also a
it'd be
part that I'm
rewarding.
that's a part I'm worried about as well is taking that home with me. For
Right.
instance, like if you were to become maybe a social worker or a
Okay.
therapist, and you're sitting there with somebody, listening to their issues. Now, like Mario, you may have your own issues, right? Like you may have like things that you're going through as well on daily life,
Mhm.
and then you sit there as a therapist and you listen to this one, whoever soldier or anybody who has significant issues themselves, and they
Mhm.
lay this on you, and you're thinking about it. That's the scary part, is taking that home with you,
Yeah.
and now that gets ingrained into your life issues. The
Yeah.
I think I would have a hard time separating that, because I give a
Yeah.
if you care about it, it's it's going to be on your mind.
Mhm. Yeah. And
Be tough.
that's one of the things because you stop and think about it. We already deal with our own issues as far as
Hmm.
just trying to navigate life. I
Absolutely.
know. This time of the year it's tough for me because you know I lost a good friend of mine on May 25th, and then on top of that you had Memorial Day,
Mm.
and so it was like extra hard for me. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
um, And then on top of that, if you have to come to work and deal with somebody else's stuff, I mean, that would be kind of hard. I
Yeah.
think really for you, Vic, the you know you have all the tools to do whatever it is that you want to do in life, man. I think you're putting yourself in a good situation, and biggest thing is I know that whatever choice you decide to do, it's going to be beneficial for you and your family. And so I'm not worried about that. You're a very smart person. You're pretty good at analyzing stuff. So I'm pretty sure you're going to figure out what's more
Now, if I can
beneficial
get
for
you to
you.
convince my wife about that, man, I might have to get you to talk to her about it and try to convince her about that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard because you and I mean, I'm an NCO, you're a chief warrant officer. It's, we have kind of like the same mentality. And so
Yeah, yeah,
it's kind of hard to get that out of somebody who hasn't been in that kind of situation.
right.
But no, it's great, man. I'm glad that you're almost done with your schooling and you're continuing further your education. But, now,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more opportunities for law schools where you're at. Um, have
Mhm.
you looked into any of them?
I have, yeah, yeah. I looked in law school, I looked into taking the LSAT. Haven't applied
Hmm.
for anything yet, but
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just kind of on the fence on it. I'm seeing how
Yeah.
this thing goes right now with a master's
Hmm.
degree, and I still have the full GI Bill that I can use, so potentially that can help out as well. So
I,
we will
I
see. I mean, time will tell.
I got a suggestion for you. I don't know if
Yeah.
this might help you, but let's say if you want to become a lawyer, I don't know if immigration court has like open seating where you can actually like
Mhm,
watch people litigate, because that would
mhm.
probably give you a better perspective without you even going into law school and seeing this is something you want to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something you can do. I mean, you kind of have an idea of how it would be to be a therapist because I'm sure you go to the vet center or folks that
Yeah.
do that kind of stuff. I think so. I think you have a better idea of how it would be as a therapist compared to being an immigration lawyer. So maybe do that. I know that for criminal court you can go in. It doesn't require you to have anything. You can go to any court and listen to any case that's going on out there,
Right.
but I don't know how it is for immigration.
Yeah. So I have one of my old bosses is an immigration judge, and I
Oh,
might tap into him. Like he retired, he was a colonel, he retired and became an immigration judge. And so I might
wow, it's
tap into him
amazing.
and see how that goes. But yeah,
Yeah,
the one thing I know I don't want to do is like litigation, like prosecution or defense. That's
criminal.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, that I've seen though. I've sat in many of those. I've seen those, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know that that is what I want to get into. Like I've done
No, I
witness
wouldn't. I wouldn't
testimony
either.
and evidence discovery and all that, and it's just kind of a pain.
Yeah, no, it's I've sat in a couple of court cases where guys just do just stuff that you think
Yeah,
they'll be in prison for a long time and they only get like 10 years. I'm like, 10 years?
yeah.
What
How
does
the
a
hell's that
victim
work?
get? How the hell does that work?
But you know
Um,
what would be fun is when I
mhm,
was the investigations OIC over in Camp Lejeune, I had two NCIS Marines that worked for me. That
mhm.
is very interesting. Like
Yeah.
they go and there's photographs that are being taken, there's polygraphs, there's witness interviews, and I'm like,
Mhm,
I mean, they were just kind of under my hierarchy, right? Like I wrote the
mhm,
fitness reports for them and all that, and
mhm,
because they needed to be they were attached to my unit, so they're like, "Hey, who can we put them under?" Okay, well, Vic, you're doing this, so you got two NCIS guys there. Cool. Um, but I talked to them a lot, and I'm like, "Man, this is
mhm,
your guys whatever what you guys do, like criminal investigations, is freaking awesome. It's like I would
mhm.
love that,
Right.
polygraph certified, just going
Yeah.
out taking photos,
Um,
investigating stuff.
my
Interesting.
my other suggestion is maybe going over to the district attorney's office and ask him like, "Hey, I had this training that I did when I was in the military. Is there
Mhm.
something that you guys do that could kind of translate into that?" And maybe they do have some sort of investigator type of position for you. I know that in most cases, a lot of DAs, most of the investigators are former police officers. Every county is different, and
Mhm.
maybe just go in and ask. Maybe it gives you
Oh,
a
absolutely.
better perspective if maybe that's the kind of route you want to go. You know,
Mhm.
um, because like I'm actually pretty good friends with the DA in my county, so
Oh. What happened there? Lost him. Maybe the DA is listening. I don't know. Hey, real quick, while we get him back on here, going to the comments. Hey, this is all great information. No, like Mo perspective, we're talking about the school work, right? You mentioned your last page was at least 5 pages double spaced. That's the great thing about APA 7th edition formatting is it is all double spaced. So great stuff. Oh, here he is, bringing him back. What happened there, dude? Did they get you?
I had no idea, man. All of a sudden, I was talking to myself. What the heck? So yeah, no. So maybe the DA might be a good perspective, and you just go and ask questions.
Yeah.
I think people like those that like to ask questions and like to see where they're at. It might give you some sort of opening or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely,
Doesn't
man.
hurt to ask.
I still feel young enough to do something, and that's the great thing about like military retirement and starting your second like life, I guess, your second
Right.
career is you like sky's the limit. You can do whatever
Right.
the hell you want,
Yeah.
and then you enjoy the benefits of like the monthly housing allowance as well if you're using GI Bill VRE. So you could potentially have a part-time job and do this as well, like go to school. So a lot of leniency when it comes to that. So I do appreciate those benefits that we get.
So for the BR&E, do you have to the minimum you can have is a part-time job, right? You can't be fully employed, right?
Um, so when the idea is that so you can have a job, as far as I understand, but the idea is if you hold a job and it causes issues with your service connected issues,
Mm.
and you need to make like I guess you need to explore a new path with a new career that
Oh.
won't exacerbate your issues, then you can get approved for that. For instance, I had a
Oh,
full-time
okay.
job, a federal employee when I applied to the VRE.
Hmm.
However, there was a lot of things that came along with that, right? That I was like, look, I'm not. I don't know if this is the best position for me because
Hmm.
this, and they're like, oh, okay, well, we can work with that. And
Okay.
in turn, I mean, part of it was that they were letting me go. I was let go twice
Yeah, you were telling me about
because of
that whole
the
situation.
drawdown, right? So I'm like, look, to
Right.
be honest, I don't know if I'm going to have a job next week, so I need to figure something out here,
Hmm.
And they were like, oh, okay, well, we understand. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think you can have a job. It's
Hmm.
just there has to be some kind of issues with um,
Current job that's making
your
you want to
current
make a move.
your disability issues. Yeah, so that's the
Oh,
only
okay.
thing. Yeah, but I mean, man, what a excellent benefit, dude. Excellent benefit. Even GI Bill, even that new Vet Tech that's coming out, Vet Tech 2.0
Well, tell me
on
about that. I don't know nothing about that.
so Vet Tech 2.0 is it's not a degree, it's not for degree seeking programs. It is
Hmm.
for like certifications in computer programming and IT and all everything within that area.
Hmm.
And the coolest thing is you don't even have to have any more GI Bill left. Like you
Oh.
could have exhausted all of your GI Bill. You can be up to 62 years old and still get approved for this new benefit that the VA is putting out. And it also gives you a monthly housing allowance while you're going through the training.
Huh.
So, but the thing, it's so new that they haven't even started getting applications. They haven't even opened it up for applications yet. So
Okay.
it opens up in June, and they're opening it up for 4,000 vets per fiscal year. So
Hmm.
I think it's going to get filled up pretty quick.
Yeah.
But
I know.
if you have GI Bill, they take one for one, like 1 month of GI Bill for 1 month of vet tech. I personally wouldn't use it if I still had GI Bill,
Mhm.
but it's there if you've exhausted all your GI Bill. It's pretty damn good.
Okay. That's pretty interesting. I mean, I
Yeah.
know that there's a real shortage of IT professionals and stuff like that. So I think that's the reason why. And they know the the work ethic of most veterans. So I think it's a good opportunity for them because if correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of IT jobs, some of them are remote. You don't even have to show up at the
Yeah,
any facility. You
yeah.
can do it all from your home, and
So with a
that
lot of
opens
these
up.
remote jobs, they require you, at least from what I've been reading, because I've been looking at some positions out there. Some remote jobs require you to be within driving distance of their office or location, or at least within the state, just in
Right.
case you need to come back into the office.
Hmm.
Um, they're breaking away from like, hey, we're letting you be remote and you can live in friggin' Panama or something like that. You know,
Hmm.
so that's at least that's what I've come across on there, which would
That's
be
not
nice
bad.
because I would love to go to freaking Guatemala and just work remote in front of Lake Atitlan or something. But
Yeah, and look at the birds and shit, man.
yeah, man, it's
Yeah.
amazing, amazing.
You thinking of going back?
To Guatemala,
Hmm.
dude, I think about it all the time, man. I really do. Yeah,
Have you
some of
gone
the
to
best things I've
Tikal?
had. No, I haven't. We went to another place. It was another place with the ruins. We didn't have a chance to go to Tikal, but there was another
Mhm.
spot that was like an hour away that we went to from Antigua. But
Right.
we were looking at Belize, Belize
Okay.
and Nicaragua.
So here's a suggestion for you. If
Okay.
you look at geographically, Belize is north of Guatemala, right?
Hmm.
There's nothing that says you can't take a flight from there to go see Tikal.
Yeah, nothing.
You
Yeah,
can do
you're
both.
absolutely right. You're absolutely
Because
right.
I was thinking of doing a Cancun trip, and on top of that,
Mhm.
adding a Tikal trip to it because it's about 45-minute flight from Cancun
Yeah.
to Tikal. It's a small little remote airport that they have over there. But
Hmm.
I've always wanted to go there, but the biggest problem is how far it is. It's way up north, you know.
Right, 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 right.
And,
So, but
but
yeah, all that stuff is very interesting to me, man. Like we went to Mexico a while back. We went to like Chichen Itza. Um,
mm,
we took a trip before it got like just overly touristy. We went to Tulum, Mexico, which was amazing. You know, a lot
mhm,
of Mayan ruins out there. So
mhm,
a lot to see around that area. And you know, like Belize has some, Nicaragua. I don't know if Nicaragua has some, but um, I'm sure they do. They were all like colonized at one point, so they all have like a Plaza de Armas and all that.
mhm,
Um, but I don't know if they all have like these prominent ruins like Guatemala has or
mhm.
Belize.
Yeah.
But it is very interesting.
Another suggestion for you be Oaxaca. People don't think about
Oaxaca,
Oaxaca.
I keep thinking about it because of the food.
The food is fucking bomb. I'm sorry, bro, but
Food,
it's
dude.
just this. It's if you're a foodie like me, bro, like it's a combination of Mayan and Aztec
Hmm.
combined,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. The cheeses that they have there are nothing like I've ever seen before. Uh, we have a Oaxacan restaurant, in LA. We go there once in a while. It's amazing. The food is amazing. That whole area is beautiful, and the
Yeah.
beaches there are not super crowded. So just
Oh,
something to
that's
think
not bad.
about.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
bad. Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the spots I've been thinking about because if we fly out from TJ, then
Mm,
it's
yeah.
way less expensive than flying from San
Yeah.
Diego or LAX. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I know why because different airlines, right?
Right.
More expensive here, but yeah, fly out from TJ and
I haven't tried that TJ thing. What's your experience been like in that airport?
I haven't tried it either. So
Oh, okay.
we're looking at trying it at some point. When I
Yeah.
do, I will give you the after action because
Oh,
it's
yeah. That'd be great.
it's like $20 a head to go across this terminal, which you don't even have to cross a border, but you cross like this San Diego to TJ border,
Hmm.
like a terminal, right? You just walk through this terminal
Right.
thing, and then you're in the airport. So you
Hmm.
park on San Diego, you walk into this terminal, you cross the hall, and then you're in the airport. You have to show them your passport and all that. Costs like $20 or something like that, plus like parking and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
I heard
I've
it's
only
way
heard
more
good things.
reasonable.
Yeah,
I heard
I've
it's
heard I've
way
heard
more reasonable.
great things, man. I've
So
heard great things.
Yeah, I think I want to do that too because, flying out of TJ to, like I said, I want to go to Guadalajara. Been there.
Mhm.
I want to go there, and I just want to see what the prices are. I'm sure it's a lot easier going through Aeromexico. It's probably
Yeah.
cheaper. Um, so yeah, that'd be cool, man. This year we're doing the Disneyland trip with the grandkids, but next year I got my granddaughter's quince slash sweet 16, so we're
Mhm.
not doing much that year. But then the year after that, it's when we got to start planning what we want to do. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's some really good places. I'm just not a fan of going to the East Coast, bro. Nothing against the East Coast, but I just hate the time difference. The time difference
Right,
is
I
what
understand.
kicks me in the butt, you know.
Yeah.
And but my wife wants to go to Dominican Republic, and
That's
it
pretty nice
seems
out
like,
there.
yeah, I haven't been there. I definitely want to go to a resort that has a private beach because my brother told me that he went to a resort that wasn't a private beach and he was trying to relax in the beach, and you have all these vendors trying to sell you
Bend
stuff,
yeah.
and it doesn't make
It
it,
kills it, no?
it kills it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I get it, man.
yeah.
I went there when I went to Costa Rica, it was like that, I went to, like, this beautiful beach out there, and, we rented an Airbnb, it was right across from the beach, so, like, just
Mm,
walk down past a restaurant and you're there, uh, but we were there was, like, people selling bracelets, just, like, stuff that I don't need,
yeah.
like, shirts and stuff like that, and we're just trying to chill, we
Mm,
rented they set you up with this I think it was, like, $10 for, like, the entire day, and they give you like a canopy and some chairs so you can hang out there
mm,
under the canopy. But then you constantly have people coming up to you asking you to buy stuff, and I'm like, no, no. I mean, how many times can I say no, right? Like, I should have just held
yeah.
a sign up that said no, thank you, no
Mhm.
soliciting, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of a pain sometimes.
Yeah. But
Yeah, man.
yeah, man, it's cool. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad things are going well for you with your
Likewise, dude.
school,
Likewise.
man. And I am I'm thankful you're still doing a lot of these podcasts because it's always good to connect with veterans, man. It's always good for us to help each other out because
Hmm.
if we don't do it, nobody else will, man.
Yeah,
And
absolutely, man. We gotta look out for
you
each
know,
other.
actually, and my thing too is like, don't let first of all, don't tell people you disabled or you're getting some sort of compensation, man. Like don't do that, please, guys,
Me
please. No, I'm
or
not talking about
everybody?
you. I'm just talking about in general, bro. We have all these guys that
Yeah.
talk about what don't talk about your personal stuff, man. If not, people are gonna start ridiculing. I don't like the fact that we have this trend now where people think that they can start questioning veterans on why they should get disability compensation
Mhm.
and all this other stuff that we get. I mean, honestly, if you didn't serve, how can you really relate? You know, and it's kind of hard for me to do that, and I always urge people not to kind of talk about that kind of stuff, and especially in social media, man. You're
Right.
just putting yourself out there for others to ridicule you.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that floating around. Folks going on like different like YouTube channels or something, or I don't know what these
Hmm.
shows talking about.
Hmm.
Hey, I'm 100% disabled or 80% or whatever, and they're questioning them like, "How'd you get it?" And it's almost
Hmm.
like ridiculing them. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's. I agree with you. Like, don't talk about that stuff. It's nobody else's business. I
Yeah.
will also say that there is and I'm not going to even put it up on the screen or mention the name, but there's a Facebook page that I came across not too long ago, and kind of eye-opening, kind of strange,
Hmm.
but the it's got like several, it's got over 100,000 members on it, like 130,000 or something, and it's all about people sharing their VA disability stuff. It's
Oh
kind of
yeah,
crazy.
I've seen that. I know
Yeah.
exactly which one you're talking about. And it's funny how they all like introduce themselves. Hey, their little picture. Yeah, I'm
Right. Right.
100%
Right. Right.
POT. Like, dude, who the hell cares? Like,
Right.
don't
And I'm
talk
like,
about
I gotta believe that page like that, because it's public. I mean, you can
it.
join the group, but it's
Mhm.
public. Oh, hold on. Hey, give me a second here. Hold on a second.
Sure, no problem.
All right, all right, all right. Welcome, everybody. Let me see. Just looking at some of these comments real quick. Love
Yep.
yourself. Welcome. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Konnichiwa to all veterans. God bless you and your families. May all you have a safe and blessed week. Awesome. You as well. You as well. Minimoto, welcome. Everyone, Oliver Rust, Roy Estrada, everybody. Low perspective. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, man. I'm sorry. We were speaking about, if you can.
Talking about your disability status on social
That's right.
media.
That's right. On social media. Yeah. Nobody else's business. And it,
Yep.
I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This whole page is dedicated to that. And I have to believe, because it is a public page,
Mhm.
that people are kind of, I mean, if it was brought to my attention and then I looked at it, it was like message to me, right?
Mhm.
And then I went on there, and then it shows up every so often now because I looked at it at one point. Um, you can see everybody on there, like without being a
Yeah.
member.
Yep.
And I was like, whoa, like, why would you do that, for one? And then people like photos of them, hey, I'm 100% PNT and I'm at the gym, like photos of them like pumping iron. I'm like, dog, maybe think twice before you post your stuff online, right? Because
Yeah.
anybody can take screenshots of anything.
Yep.
So there's got to be something, some people who are reporting stuff, kind of lurking back there, watching this stuff.
And
So be mindful of that.
and in all honesty, I think that's the reason where that Washington Post,
Washington Post. Yeah. Yeah.
remember Washington Post trying to exposing that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And in the long run, it's kind of making like every veteran look like we're just a bunch of freeloaders, and that's not the case. Most of us do have like serious issues.
Mhm.
After our military service. You know,
Yeah.
but
That
yeah, I
Washington
just
Post one was wild though. That
oh
was
dude,
wild.
that thing got
That
so
dude
much
was like,
backlash.
he said he was paralyzed. And
Yeah,
then the next thing they got him at like he would show up in his wheelchair at the VA. And then the next thing is he's got pictures or videos of him doing backflips at the trampoline park. I'm like, that's wild, dude.
Jesus Christ.
That's wild, man. Like, what?
I mean, I don't have a problem with exposing people like that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no.
But and-
Nor
but
nor do I.
but to me, it's like most veterans do have a problem. We do have limitations. We do have
Yeah.
and I don't want all of us to be ridiculed because of one you know one
Absolutely.
post that was done in a national newspaper.
Yeah.
Um, I have a disability plate on my vehicle, and this lady, I call her Karen, and she comes up to me and she's like, Why do you have a disability plate? You seem like you walk just fine." And I was so close to just ignoring her, but my point is, like, I feel like it's a look, lady. I did 3 deployments to Iraq. I've got blown up several times. So believe me, if I have a plate and it seems like I'm walking normally, yeah, just trust me. I live with pain all day.
Yeah.
After that, she just kind of got quiet. But it's just you have these kind of people that want to question
Hmm.
you because you look like you're walking normal, but in the same time, you have no idea how much pain tolerance. Because think about it, a lot of us that are veterans have pain tolerances. We can function even if we have like 30% pain on your joints or back or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But just stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a nuisance, man. It really is. Um, I mean, I have to imagine that folks who have that plate probably get that question often, or I don't know how often. I mean, I don't have the numbers or the stats or anything like that, but yeah, nobody else's business, man. I mean, no,
Yeah.
I mean, what would you go up to somebody that maybe was like in a wheelchair or something like that? Hey, oh, hold on a second. Why do you have that plate?
Yeah.
Explain yourself. Like the
Yeah.
audacity, like the brazenness of just going up to
Yeah.
somebody and saying something like
Well,
that.
and that's the kind of world we live on right now. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about this story not too long ago. This happened, I think, in the city of Arcadia.
Hmm.
Uh, there are 3 police officers who have disabled veteran plates on, and the city fired them because they're saying that, how is it that you're disabled when you're working as a police officer?
It's in Riverside, California.
Oh, it's in Riverside. There you go. I think
Riverside, yeah.
Arcadia, Riverside. And it's like, really? So you mean to tell
Yeah.
me I can't do my job? And it's kind of hard to kind of explain that to most civilians. And I know the outcome of this case is going to be bad for that city because I already know those veterans are gonna win because it's blatantly discrimination, man.
Yeah. So I'm curious about. So I heard about that one. I haven't been following it as close,
Hmm.
but I'm also curious about that one. Like, how? First off, like, how did they get that job? Like, I'm not saying that it's wrong or right. I'm
Hmm.
just like looking at it from the outside in. Like, what would prompt a police department who potentially does kind of almost the same kind of training, and I assume that they have annual fitness standards similar to like a military branch. Um, how would one a police department prompt someone? How Why would they hire somebody who has 100% VA disability?
I have a feeling these 3 individuals were already hired by the department
Mm,
because they're
mhm.
probably National Guardsmen or reservists.
Oh,
They
okay.
went overseas
Before, yeah.
and got the rating. I honestly think that's the way because they do look at your background extensively when you're applying for a police agency. you
Mhm.
know so I honestly think that in most cases this happened after they were hired through the agency.
So, what in the military,
Hmm.
when you experience something like that, that would give you
Hmm.
some sort of disability
Hmm.
equal to maybe like their 100% disability, right?
Hmm.
That would prompt a medical retirement, right? Or medical separation.
Could be, but technically speaking, I don't think they needed to disclose that because it's happened in a different
Yeah.
agency.
Right, right.
I think that's where they're going to win because technically speaking, there's nothing in their policies that says I have to disclose that.
Yeah. I think it's when they just rolled up with their decal or their plates or whatever.
It's on the plate.
That's
Yeah.
when
It's just on the plate.
yeah, that's when people found out like, how is this guy
Hmm.
a police officer and he's got DV plates, you know?
Well, there's nothing that says you can't take a desk job as a police officer.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. There isn't, you know. I mean that could very well be within the realm of where they should fall.
Hmm.
And I don't know what their jobs were as police officers, right? I don't know if they were out like,
I don't either because I mean,
you know,
but it just seems to me like that's just blatant discrimination. And
mhm,
in many cases, I remember watching the local news because we still get a lot of news from LA here in Bakersfield, and
mhm.
people were just like they were upset, like really upset,
Yeah,
and
yeah, I can
within
see that.
reason. My thing is if they're capable to do the job of what they're doing, and there's nothing that says that I have to disclose my military medical um, records to you
Hmm.
unless you ask for them. Yeah, I don't know. I think in the long run, Riverside will look pretty bad on this because and it might even hurt their chances of recruiting military folks.
Oh
You know,
yeah, like if they know that they're going to be held to some kind of, if they're going to be looked at that way, yeah, I can see that.
yeah,
I can see that.
yeah,
And you've opened that up for me again because I wanted to. I read about it when it happened, maybe like I don't know, 2 months ago or something like that when
yeah,
it
two
first came
months
across
ago,
my
yeah,
screen. But now I want to check this out and kind of follow it a little bit more.
hmm,
Riverside PD, 100%.
yeah, because I think that it opens up other cases to because I the way I look at it is if the employer wins this case, we're all screwed. We're all screwed
Yeah.
because technically speaking, we either have to disclose all of our military records, and I don't know if it really can happen because of the whole HIPAA thing. I don't know. That's why
Well, no,
it's
they would make law around that. Like if there is if the city wins, then of course then they would have to make law that says, hey, look, now you have to disclose that if you do have 100% VA disability to
Mhm,
your employer, your police department employer, right?
mhm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm curious how it's going to work out, man.
and I really just curious as to how this is going to affect recruiting in law enforcement agencies because technically speaking, this is doesn't just affect one agency. It's going to affect pretty much all of them. And as you know, it's already hard to get police officers here in California because
Mm,
of everybody just has a phone with them at all times. Well, I mean everywhere, but I noticed that it's a bit more here in California compared to other
yeah,
states.
yeah. So time will tell, man. I mean, this case will set a big precedent for a lot of other ones out there, as far as how
Hmm.
they're the folks with DV plates, 100% VA disability are being treated or looked at when they come to apply for it. Because again, I have to believe that, hey, maybe they got it. Maybe they were in transition or something like that, military civilian
Hmm.
transition, or maybe they're National Guardsmen, and they hadn't received their disability rating or even the plates until they got that job. And then all of a sudden they just show up with their DV plates, and it's like, what's this about? So
Right. And
again, I'm not up to speed on what's going on with it as much as I should be, but this prompts me to want to read a little bit about it.
and to be honest with you, this kind of also brings another of my own experiences when applying to a job. I don't know if you noticed that, most applications now they want to know if you're a veteran or if you're a protected veteran or stuff like
Oh,
that.
I've seen that. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so I ask you a question: are you disabled or not? Um, I was putting yes on many of these applications, and I would tell everybody don't put no or don't disclose it because technically speaking, they don't need to know that. You know what I'm saying? And I've
Yeah.
noticed that if you put yes, you have less chances of getting an interview, regardless of how uh, qualified you may be. I don't know if other people have had the same experience. I had that experience. So,
Hmm. See, all along, I was under the impression that if you put yes, then it gives you some kind of incentive to maybe to maybe a leg up. Maybe just like in federal employment, it gives you like points towards it. Like you get 10 extra points or something like that on your resume, where it puts you higher on the stack of visibility. Right. So I don't know if that's how it works. Like when I have applied, I have put, yeah, I'm a protected veteran. But then I also have noticed I never get an email or a call back like months later. So I don't know. I
yeah,
don't know if
honestly,
that's affecting me or not.
I think they do ask that. I mean, they've asked that question to me,
Mhm.
and at this point now, I don't really disclose it, man, because I'm to a point where I'm like, and
Yeah.
technically speaking, you don't have to disclose it. You don't
Yeah. I
have
mean,
to
it's an
disclose
optional
it.
question.
It's
It's an
an
optional
optional
question.
question, and
Yeah.
so I don't know if I'm the only one that's had that problem. I'm sure you have. You shared yours, and it seems to me like, it's kind of a little trap question.
Yeah. You think that it's working for you. That'd be a great thing to ask somebody like within the human
Hey,
resources world. Like, hey,
yeah.
how does this question affect employment within organizations? Not specifically theirs, because they're obviously not going to tell me
Mhm,
about theirs, right? But how
mhm,
does that help your chances of getting a job? Does it really help
yeah,
veterans? Does it not? Like, what's some insight? Give me some feedback on this, man, because we need to know.
yeah. That's a great question to ask. Because
Yeah,
from my perspective, it hasn't helped me. So I try not to put it on there.
yeah. Let me just write this down before I forget. If I don't write this down, I'm going to forget, and I'll never think about it again. Interview HR question. Yeah, I like that. Good stuff, man. Well, Mario, dude, man, great stuff, dude. Awesome
Yeah,
to
man.
connect with you
It's
again and
always
see
yeah. It's
you.
always likewise, man. Likewise, brother. And so yeah, I gotta go as well, man. But thank you for the time. I always appreciate talking to you, man. We always come up with some good brainstorming ideas. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I always appreciate your time, man. Continue doing what you're doing, man. Helping out vets. It's a great thing you're doing, man. So just want to commend you on that.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll continue.
All right, brother. Well,
Promise.
I'm gonna let you go, man. God bless you, man. You take care of yourself. You know,
Likewise.
later side chat. You guys take care. All right, man. I'm out.
Likewise. So that was Mario Mosen, aka the Battle Bean, imparting some tidbits of information and wisdom on there. Great stuff to kind of think about here as we're coming towards the end of the show. I think, oh shoot, it's almost been 3 hours and 30 minutes. It goes by so quick because it's just constant flow of information and good topics. People bringing up good information on the side here. Yeah, things to look up here now is that Riverside, California Police Department, who is having that legal dispute with these 100% VA disabled police officers. Good little thing to look into. I got it on my list. And then potentially interviewing or talking to somebody in the human resources world on how that veterans preference on the questions when you apply, how that actually affects the people who check yes, like protected veteran. Does that affect them in any way? Does that give them any leg up on the application process? Very curious on that. Protected veteran. So yeah, hey, great information. Again, today, Friday, happy Friday to everybody. Today was all about the open discussion. Today was all about talking about veteran benefits, life after the uniform, current news and updates on whatever really you all had on your mind. And it did not disappoint. You all brought up some good stuff. Truly appreciate everybody on the chat who joined in the conversation. Good stuff. Shout out to Big Red, who joined up and shared some information and some stories that he had from his time in the Marine Corps. Shout out to Mario, aka Battle Bean, for jumping on and talking a little bit about what he's got. And really shout out to everybody on the live stream today. Great to have you all. Mario was talking about some food from like Oaxaca, Mexico, and I'm like, I haven't had breakfast yet. I'm freaking super hungry. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. It's afternoon now. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Thank you all for joining me today on the Green Logbook. Don't forget to stop by on Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time. We're going to be doing a little bit of live streaming here on the Green Logbook and also on the Military Retirement Podcast. I think the topic is going to be something about your experiences, crazy or not, in the military. So looking forward to hearing some stories from you all. Write them down, get ready, be prepared to share. Okay, we're going to call some folks on the live stream. If you want to jump on and share some, in the video chat with us, feel free to do so, about 5 minutes each or so, and then we bring on the next folks. So great to have you all. Thank you all for joining today's live stream, Friday's live stream, open discussion on the Green Logbook. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel out here.